I was.
But the judge isn't feeling so charitable.
I made a mistake.
You made two mistakes. The second one is coming here and telling me the story.
Judge Judy.
You know that I'm not buying what you're saying to me, but I'm going to let you dig your hole.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Daniel Batson is suing his former employee, Vicki Smalley, and her husband, Ted, for an unpaid loan and late fees.
Order. All rise. It's case number 414 on the calendar in the matter of Batson versus Smalley.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Batson, Miss Smalley worked for you as an accountant.
A bookkeeper, yes.
Bookkeeper. In what kind of business?
I buy and sell all types of different used equipment that I purchase.
How long did Miss Smalley work for you?
Approximately 6 to 7 years.
Now, there came a time when she and her husband came to you for a loan.
Yes.
They don't deny that. When was that?
Approximately late 2013, 2014. I don't have the original date.
Do you remember when you came to him for the loan?
February 2014.
And how much?
No.
How much?
I loaned them 2 different times for a total of $2,800.
Did you give them check or cash?
I gave them cash.
And they, at some point, started to pay you back?
Yes.
When?
October of 2014, I was given a check for $2,000, which did not go through. At that point...
Do you have that check?
Yes.
I'd like to take a look at it. And when you say it did not go through, it was dishonored by the bank?
Yes, it was returned for insufficient funds.
Okay. Now, Miss Smalley.
Yes.
Let's go back to you. I said, how much did you borrow?
Yes.
And you said $1,200.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you want to tell me why you wrote him a check for $2,000 and in your handwriting wrote partial payment?
That was a loan, a prior loan to the one that we're talking about.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is.
You mean you came to Mr. Batson and asked him for money on more than one occasion?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. You know that I'm not buying what you're saying to me, but I'm going to let you dig your hole. You understand?
Okay.
Okay. When was the first time you came and asked him for money?
5 or 6 years ago. I mean, Dan would loan money all the time, okay? If you were an employee, if you worked for Dan and you needed to borrow some money till the next payday, or you needed to borrow money...
And why did you steal from him? You were convicted of stealing from him,
yes.
Smalley, and loaned all of his employees money when they needed it. And according to you, loaned you money on successive occasions. Why'd you steal from him?
Actually...
You were convicted of stealing from him.
Yes, ma'am, I was. But
okay. So would you want to tell me why? No,
Yes,
first I asked the why.
I made a mistake.
You made 2 mistakes. The second one is coming here and telling me the story.
No, ma'am.
Because as part of your conviction, you were ordered to make restitution.
Yes.
Restitution is not for a loan. Criminal courts cannot order you to make restitution for a loan.
Right.
They can order you to make restitution for what you stole. So when the court ordered you to make restitution, which is your defense to this case, that they ordered me to make restitution, and I made restitution in the amount of $1,200, that covered the loan.
No, ma'am.
But criminal... Well, that's what you wrote in your answer. You said in your answer that you swore to, I was ordered to pay back all the money I owed him, so I paid him $1,200. Criminal court can't order you to pay back a loan. Let's start with that. They can order you to pay back what you stole. And they order you to pay back an amount certain, not pay him back what I owed. They ordered you to pay him back $1,200 because that's what you stole.
Actually, the amount in question on that is $658 and change.
Well, not in question. Back as restitution, what you stole in the amount of $1,200. It had nothing to do with the loan.
Right.
Now you're saying right. So how much does she owe you?
$1,300.
Did she make a... Just because I can't get a straight answer from her. She wouldn't know how to give a straight answer. She wouldn't know the truth if it slapped her in the face. You want to speak? You want to speak?
Yes, I do.
Great. Do you owe him $1,300?
No.
How many times did you ask him for money? How many times did you ask him for money?
One time.
One time. That's what he's here for. Not this baloney that your wife is talking about over a period of time. You asked him. That's what this case is about. The one time the two of you came to him and asked him for money.
That is correct.
Good. And look at me. And You asked him for money because
we had an incident occur where we were having a house problem with a large banking institution
I don't
that is
listen to
under
me.
suit.
I don't care. You were having financial trouble.
When we had to obtain a lawyer for this other incident. So we went to him to borrow $1,200 for a lawyer fee. That's all we borrowed was $1,200. We took him to dinner and borrowed $1,200 and not a penny more.
Listen to me. Just a second. So that's $1,200.
Correct.
A year.
Ma'am, I can't even tell you my birthday half the time.
Very good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,300. We're done. Bunch of scammers.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
According to me, we borrowed $1,200 from Dan. We paid it back.
They had paid some of the money, but most of it was late.
The promissory note that he purportedly brought.
Saying that I only loaned them $1,200, that's, I mean...
I also have a copy of and have proof that the signatures that are on it are not ours.
I've got a promissory note they both signed that said $2,800.
No, I think he's the bad guy.
I understand he's upset. He won't hear anything bad about his wife.
Because he's trying to get more back than what he was given, than what he gave.
But I'm not the one who started this. All I did was finish it.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Jones versus Locks. Step forward.
Bill Jones is suing his former friend, Ethan Locks, for an unpaid loan to pay legal fees.
Mr. Lux, when was the last time you were in jail?
2010, I believe, Your Honor.
Not since 2010.
No, ma'am.
Did you ever tell the plaintiff that you were going to jail?
No, ma'am.
Is that correct?
No.
How do you know him?
We had met because my granddaughter, we do horse shows, and we had sold a horse, and they didn't pay all the money they needed to for the horse, but they had two. And he told me that his kid was a champion motocross or whatever. So I called Clint and asked him to give me his number, see if he wanted the bikes for $3,000. I told him what kind of bikes they were, and he said he would take the bikes.
So you sold him some bikes?
2 bikes.
Okay. And when was that?
2011, 12, somewhere in there, I don't know.
Okay. When you sold him the 2 bikes for $3,000?
Yes.
Did he pay you?
Yes.
Great. This case is about what you claim was a loan.
Correct.
That you made to him. And you made him the loan in what month and year?
September of 2015.
I'd like you to tell me the circumstances of the loan.
He had called me up and said that he had to go to jail and he needed some money. I think at that time he only wanted $1,000. I told him I would try to get it for him. However, before I got the money, he called me back a few hours later and said he needed $5,000.
Had you had that kind of a relationship with the defendant that you felt as if it was appropriate for him to call you for that kind of money?
Well, he owns his own property out there. He has a nice track. His kid's a national champion in motocross. And me and my granddaughter used to go out there and watch him practice on the track he has at his house. So I got to know him fairly well, and we even went to lunch once anyway.
Okay, so then he called you back and asked you for $5,000. Do you have proof of that? It's not an answer. Do you have proof that you gave him $5,000?
No, I do not. I can tell you how I gave it to him, but I don't have proof that he did not give me a receipt.
Where did you get the money from?
When we race horses or we have our show horses, we have people with green cards are the only ones that'll shovel horse manure and so forth. I can't give them a check because if I do, they go to a check cashing place and they lose a lot of their earnings. So I have a slush fund at the ranch that we pay all the help that help us with the horse shows and the horse racing, and that's where I got the money. And plus, I go to an auction.
Is this your brother?
This is my brother. And he was giving me money to buy him a tractor because he owns a ranch about 7 miles from me in Pleasant Grove.
So what you're telling me is that you gave Mr. Locks cash?
Yes.
Did he ever tell you what he was going to jail for?
I asked him, and he did not answer me, so I didn't. I just thought it was DUI or something like that. I didn't know. I did not know.
What were you in jail for in 2010, Mr. Locks?
The case was dismissed.
What were you in jail for in 2010?
Having a tenant on my property who had a marijuana plants on the property, a rental.
Oh, I've been a lawyer for 50 years. I never heard of that was a violation of the penal law. You mean you were arrested for growing marijuana?
I was arrested for, they figured that the person dismissed.
You were arrested for growing marijuana.
I don't recall the charges as growing marijuana. I believe it was for the guy possession of marijuana, which was dismissed.
So you were, I just want to know who I'm dealing with. So what you're telling me is you were arrested because somebody that you knew was in possession of marijuana.
No, I have 87 acres with 5 tenants on it. I live on one of the houses, and one of the back houses had marijuana, and the police had actually arrested
So you were
everybody
arrested
on the press.
for
possession of
marijuana.
Yes, yes, which was dismissed.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Your bank statement would show me whether or not you had $5,000 in cash in the bank, right?
She wouldn't put the dollar in.
Right.
She put a bunch of X's.
I don't care what she put in. Listen, I'm slicker than you are. That's why I'm here and you're there.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Bill Jones says, former friend Ethan Locks owes for a loan to pay legal fees. Ethan is countersuing, claiming Bill failed to perform work he paid him for.
Now, did he ever give you your money back?
He gave it to me in a form of checks.
How much later?
A little over a year later, in September.
Do you have those checks with you?
I do.
I'd like to take a look at them. Okay, and when you went to try to cash these, he had put a stop payment on them, or?
The bank didn't tell me why. I went in, I walked into the bank because I didn't want to deposit them and have them bounce and have to cost me money.
Just a second. Do you still maintain a bank at this Wells Fargo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it the same account number?
Yes, I have letters from the bank for you showing.
I'd like to take a look at them.
Yes, Your Honor. One will show you I'm an outstanding, and that when I placed the stop payment was the final day when he didn't show up.
This letter is dated January 11th. It indicates that you currently have an account. Doesn't tell me what the balance is.
It says since 2005.
What?
The account's been open since 2005, it says.
Yeah. It doesn't tell me how much money you had in there. It doesn't tell me how much money you had in there.
That's what the bank provided.
On September of 2016. You have a bank statement in September of 2016, sir.
And it shows that when I stopped the payments a month later.
I don't care. Your bank statement in September of 2016 would show me whether or not you had $5,000 in cash in the bank, right?
She wouldn't put the dollar in.
Right.
She put a bunch of X's.
I know than you are. That's why I'm here and you're there. All you would have to bring to me is not a bunch of X's, is a bank statement showing me in September of 2016, when you wrote checks to him in the amount of $5,000, that you had $5,000 in the bank. That's easy.
I have texts as proof that he lost the $2,000 checks from him.
Just a second.
And then he got a second check.
Just a second. Would that be easy? Did you have $5,000 in the bank?
Yes, and overdraft.
So the answer is you didn't. Hey, slick. So the answer is you didn't have $5,000 in the bank.
I had more than 5,000, and I keep a balance of above.
That's not
5,
what I asked you. You said to me in overdraft. You muttered in overdraft. I said to you, did you have $5,000 in cash in this bank? It's very easy.
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Good. We're going to come back here as soon as you get me Wells Fargo. Know them well. They're going to fax it right over to you. You're going to call them and authorize them to show me that in September of 2016, you had $5,000 in the bank.
Yes, Your
Great.
Honor.
See you soon.
Okay.
This case will be recalled.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
My question to you, Mr. Jones, is as follows. Very careful with your answer. I want to know how I have 2 checks here, one for 2 and one for 3.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. In a case earlier today, Bill Jones says former friend Ethan Locks owes for a loan to pay legal fees. Ethan is countersuing, claiming Bill failed to perform work he paid him for.
Just to recall case 412 in the matter of Jones versus Locks.
Thank you.
Parties are reminded you're still under oath. You're welcome, Judge.
All right, Mr. Locks, you have a document for me?
I have a couple, Your Honor.
Well, I just need the one document that I asked you for, which was a bank statement that in September of 2016, when you wrote these checks, you had a $5,000 balance in your account.
I have $5,000 available. And which date was it?
No. I didn't say available. Was it $5,000 with a line of credit or without a line of credit?
It was in the overdraft. and it's right here on the papers from Wells Fargo and a statement from Wells Fargo and them showing that the check.
I want to know what the balance was in your account.
At the beginning balance was $6,265.35. But they state here that if anything was to be cashed or attempted to cash, that the overdraft, what they show here, had $9,000 available to it.
All I want to see is, just want to look at your statement.
I understood, but I wasn't sure what exact date he said that he went to cash the checks, because I have text here saying that he didn't have the check, that it was misplaced. So I gave him a replacement check for the other.
Well, that's sort of odd, because something's just not reconciling with me. On September the 15th, you gave him a check for $2,000.
With no name on it.
Just a second. Correct. That was check number 269.
Correct.
1 week later, you gave him a check, according to your checks, 118.
Correct. I have multiple checkbooks that I write up. One is my ranch and one is my house in Mill Valley, where I stay at. And that's where I had been. So I left the check for him there at the ranch to pick up. If you take time and you read our texts with each other, he states in there that he was going to deliver gravel and never showed up, and the money was for gravel.
First, would you let me see the bank statement?
Sure. Yes, ma'am. Here's the bank
September.
statements and other stuff the bank asked to give to you. And if you continued it, they would give you a letter showing the checks were never scanned or attempted to be cashed. Here's proof he also received money towards the gravel, which he never showed up at the road base.
I don't know who he's talking to. So on September the 15th, which is the first day you wrote the check, you had an ending daily balance of $510.52.
With $9,000 overdraft.
That's what it says. On the day you wrote him the check for $2,000, you had a balance in your account of $510 in balance.
Correct.
On the 23rd, when you wrote him allegedly a replacement check,
which is true,
you had an ending balance of $359.18. That's your balance. That's what your bank says.
Okay. And the overdraft balance?
Listen, we discussed hours ago when I sent you to your bank. I said, did you have the money in your account? And you muttered under your breath with overdraft. And I said, don't tell me overdraft, and my hearing isn't so good. I said, did you have, without the overdraft, over $5,000 in your account? And you said yes.
In the month of September, it's true.
No, that's not. Hey, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, Your Honor, if I wouldn't have answered that way and brought you documents of that, nor would I bring you documents showing that the money was for gravel and that he received $1,035 and agreed to deliver the gravel.
I did not.
Now, my question to you, Mr. Jones, is as follows. Very careful with your answer.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, I want to know how I have two checks here, one for 2 and one for 3.
When I first, he'd signed that he was out of jail and they'd seen him, so blah, blah. So I went over to his house and I asked him to pay me the $5,000 that he owed me, that I'd loaned him. And he went into his house, he came out with one check. And he told me that that's all he had, but if I come back within a week or less, he would have the rest of the money. So I waited, and then I went back, and he gave me that check. So then I took the checks, and I walked them to the bank. The bank said they could not cash them and didn't tell me why.
Does your brother know anything about this transaction from his personal information or just what you told him?
No. The only reason he's here is because we wanted to know where I got the money, and he had money in the account.
Listen. Anybody who tells me that they're paying people under the table to do work because they don't have a green card is not going to lie to me about why they have the cash. You could have made up a lot of different stories about why you paid in cash. But that would actually not have been one of them. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counterclaim is dismissed.
Excuse me, step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, I'm very happy. She made the right decision.
It is what it is. Stories, people tell stories and what they are and what goes on in life.
My feeling is if you tell the truth, you don't have to make up a lot of stories.
He said he lost.
And pay me back. He told me to take a hike when I went to get my money back.
But hopefully in the long run, everybody will learn their lesson and you need to get a contract.
No more loans. Absolutely no more loans.
I had went to peacefully try to resolve and getting my television back.
How do you peacefully resolve it? You know I'm not believing you, right?
A former friend sudden return.
How did you get her address?
A mutual friend of ours had provided it.
You stalked me.
Does she also have trouble with the truth?
Being the friend that she was, I had...
You're making up a story now because I can tell. That's my gift.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Troyana Rodriguez is suing her former friend, 23-year-old Nishaya Swindeman, for the return of a TV, a broken phone, and gas money.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 397 on the calendar, the matter of Rodriguez versus Swindeman. Good, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Ms. Rodriguez, what I read is a complaint that suggests that you and the defendant, period of time, had a falling out. And during the time that you were friends, whatever relationship that was, according to your complaint, you brought a television set that was yours to the defendant's house.
Yes.
When did you do that?
That was in June of 2016, excuse me.
Is that right?
No.
When was it?
It was June of 2015.
That sound right?
No.
Okay. To what address did you take the television set? To what address did you take the television set? You know the address.
It would have been in the Powderhorn community.
August of 2015.
Got it?
Yes. Yes.
So it was 2015 that you brought the television set to her house?
Correct.
Better. And in what month and year did you ask her for the television back?
I asked her back for the television in July of 2016.
Why was that so difficult for you to tell me?
It was a little bit of confusion with the...
Well, that's no confusion. If you insisted that it was June of 2016 and you asked for it back a month later, well, that sounds to me as if it was perhaps a loan for some reason, which we'll get into. If she had the television for over a year, it may suggest something else. Do you understand? So rather than those that create a story for you.
Yes,
do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Now, in what month and year did you purchase this television set?
The television set was purchased back in August of 2011.
So now the television in August of July or August of 2016 would have been 5+ years old.
Correct.
And tell me what kind of television this was.
It was a Philips Eco 32 LED.
And do you have a receipt for that television?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to take a look at it.
There's that. And then that is the credit card statement in which I purchased the TV.
No, I just want to see receipt for it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you purchased this, according to this receipt, for $389, and when you brought it over to her house, it was 4 years old.
Yes.
Now, where were you living at the time?
I was living at my parents'.
And where was this television?
The television was at my home. When I was staying with them, I had purchased another TV, so it was an extra spare TV.
And your parents had their own TVs?
Yes.
So this was one that you were not using?
Right. It was
one that you were not using?
Correct.
You upgraded. Now, I want you to tell me the circumstance, because now you want an awful lot here. This is the main thing that creates this lawsuit. So, according to you, she asked to borrow it.
Yes.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding her asking to borrow the TV.
The circumstances were that she could, being the friend that she was, I had...
You're making up a story now because I can tell.
No.
That's my gift.
Okay. All right.
That's my gift.
All right. She asked to borrow the TV, in which I agreed upon. When I asked for it back, though, I expected it to be returned.
Even you don't believe that. I said, what were the circumstances? You know I have friends. And sometimes if I go to their house, I'll bring a bottle of rosé. I'll bring a bundt cake. Mm-hmm. But I actually have never brought over a TV to someone's house. Now, I've upgraded televisions over a period of time. Sometimes you move and you say, well, you know, this one was fine, but I could use a bigger one. And you have all these old TVs that are worth zero.
Sure.
A 4-year-old TV that you bought 4 years ago is worth zero. If you went to sell it, you'd be able to sell it for $25, maybe at a flea market. Mm-hmm. So now, since I don't believe you, I'm going to ask her the circumstances surrounding you bringing over the television.
Her for the television set. We were very close friends at the time. We had this thing where we made candy for shows we went to, which is like the beaded bracelets. She used to come over all the time because she was, I call her an almost functioning alcoholic, where she'd get off of work and have nowhere to go, so she'd come to my tiny house and get drunk there. She just came over one day with a TV in hand and a box of beads, and that was the last that.
Well, did you ask her why she brought the TV?
She said because we didn't have like an adequate Netflix, or we couldn't watch things together, so she brought over an entire TV.
What kind of TV did you have in your house?
I think I had like a computer screen monitor. It was maybe smaller than the one in the corner there.
And when she came over for the next year, did you watch TV on this TV?
Yeah, she was at my house several times. She had my spare key. She used the TV at my house as well.
I never had a spare key to your house.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Never.
Listen to me.
Yes, ma'am.
Never do that.
Yes, ma'am.
Is TV still working?
It was the last time I saw it.
Where is the TV now?
She introduced me to my last boyfriend, and it was a very abusive relationship. He tried to kill me, so I just left everything in the home. I don't know what happened after that.
And when did that happen?
That was March of 2016.
And after March of 2016, you had no contact with this television, with this 32-inch television.
Exactly.
When was the argument you had with the plaintiff?
June of 2016.
June, after that.
We were still friends on the basis of people knew our relationship together, and they came to me every time she was in an alcoholic binge or...
I just wanted, did you have contact with her?
Yes.
You did. Were you aware that she had been in a relationship with someone that terminated? Just look at me. Don't think of how this is going to help your story.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Want me to repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can process it.
Yes. No.
Were you aware that she had been in a relationship with a man that terminated?
Yes, I had introduced them to each other.
So you were aware that in March of 2016 she left that relationship?
It was actually February.
Before?
Yes.
Great. And did you know where she went to live?
She didn't go anywhere. She actually still lived in that apartment. When the case happened with them, restraining order was put against him, so all of his belongings were still in the home that they lived in on University, the home that I actually continuously went to, and my TV was still there.
She says she hasn't seen the TV since March of 2016. Is that right?
I moved out of the house in August, but I feel like all of his stuff has started, like he had a police escort come and start taking his things around June. I feel like it might have been May, actually.
Okay. You don't have the TV anymore?
No.
And the TV has no value. So I actually don't believe you that this was a loan. Even if it had a value, today's value, maybe today's value a year later, maybe somebody would buy it at a garage sale for 25 bucks. I'm not awarding you anything. Okay, let's go to the next item of business. The next item of business is a cell phone. Now, I want you to be careful, Miss Rodriguez, because so far I didn't believe the first story you told me. So that makes your testimony suspect. You want to tell me the day and date first that your cell phone got broken.
It was October 6th.
October 6th, what year?
2016.
Where?
It was at her apartment. Her different apartment. She had moved to Powderhorn.
Now I'm going to ask you a really important question, Ms. Rodriguez. Easy enough to verify. In October of 2016, when you were in the defendant's house, did you see your TV?
No.
Right. Perfect.
No.
Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She told you to get out. I don't have your TV.
She basically dragged me outside.
Did she tell you to leave her home?
No.
You mean she was pushing you out the door, not telling you to get out?
No.
Ms. Rodriguez, I don't believe you.
And later today,
he has the right of way, and you were making a left turn and cut him off.
He was behind the truck, and he went around the truck like a bat.
Has the right of way.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Troyana Rodriguez says former friend Deshaya Swindeman owes for a TV, a broken phone, and gas.
You want to tell me what you were doing at her house on October 6th?
I had went to peacefully try to resolve in getting my television back. My sister had gone off to college, and I had wanted to give her that TV to use during college.
Okay, but you didn't see the TV there.
I didn't see it there.
Right.
I tried to peacefully resolve.
Oh, how do you want to peacefully resolve it? How do you peacefully resolve it? You know I'm not believing you, right?
Correct.
You know I'm not believing you.
Sure.
Okay. So you got to the house. When immediately preceding October 6th, had you gone to the defendant's house before?
No.
No. You mean October 6th was the first day you were ever at her new apartment?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. How did you get her address?
A mutual friend of ours had provided it.
Okay.
You
now,
stalked me.
Now, let me go back a second to this other nonsense that you're suing her for, which is gas money.
Sure.
Okay. Now, tell me when you believe she owes you money for what trip? When did you go on a trip that she owes you gas money for?
We had went to it.
Day and date.
We had went on a trip in Michigan.
June 2016. Okay. And who drove?
I did.
So you picked her up?
Yes.
Did she go into the house?
No.
Let's get back to the phone. October 6, 2016, you went to her house to, according to you, resolve the issue of the TV, which you didn't see in the house. And?
It went very, very badly.
Well, no, I want you to tell me what happened. You went in there and you said to her, she said to you, did you call first before you went over?
No.
So you went over unannounced. What time?
It would have been at 4 p.m.
It was later than that.
What time?
I think it was like 5:36. I was just getting off of work.
Okay, keep going.
So I had gone in, she had let me into the apartment, in which a fight escalated. She had...
No, I want you to tell me what you said to her and what she said to you. She was coming home from work.
I said once again from the text messages that I sent her, it had been a really long time. All I would like is for my TV back. I would like to be done with this friendship and to call it quits after that. She didn't like that fact, so then it escalated into a scuffling match where she actually physically dragged me out of the apartment.
Are you telling me that at that time she didn't say to you, I don't have your TV?
Yes, that's what she told me. I didn't see it in her apartment.
And you said to her, just a second, don't make it up. She said to you, I don't have your TV. Look around my apartment.
Just basically, I just started announcing that I was really upset with the fact of that she would be this spiteful towards me when I was being nothing but helpful.
What were you being helpful about?
Helpful by letting her use my TV, transporting her to the TV.
You gave her the TV a year before. You changed your mind.
I didn't give her the TV.
Okay. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
So you come in, you see there's no TV. She says, I don't have your TV anymore. What else were you fighting about, Miss Rodriguez?
It was just that specifically, how spiteful that she was in this entire relationship. Friendship. Oh, heck.
Don't.
I don't swing that way.
Don't speak.
Not my type.
Just a second. Don't.
Excuse me. Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Did you ever tell them that you would pay for the damage to the car?
No.
Did she ever tell you that you would pay for the damage to the car?
She actually made a down payment of $200.
That wasn't for the car.
What was it for?
She was harassing me, texting me over and over and over.
That's ridiculous.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Troyana Rodriguez says former friend Nashaya Swindeman owes for a TV, a broken phone, and gas.
Go ahead.
I had recited that she had been very spiteful.
I told you to get out. I don't have your TV.
And then it started turning into a shoving
match.
match.
Well, how did that come about? She told you, get out. I don't have your TV. You had to leave.
She kept throwing a lot of slurs at me. She kept pushing me and shoving me, and then eventually it just got into a scuffling match where she basically dragged me outside. She went back into the apartment, came out with my phone, threw it, hit the pavement, shut the door.
Did she tell you to leave her home?
No.
You mean she was pushing you out the door, not telling you to get out?
No.
Miss Rodriguez? I don't believe you. I don't think I'm ever going to figure out exactly what this case is about, and quite frankly, I don't care. I'm not wasting another second worth of time over a 5-year-old television set that you gave her as a gift. We're done. Your case is dismissed.
Excuse me, step out.
Things change and you move on.
She had been bothering me for a long time. She had an alcoholic problem. I just really needed this to be over.
I used to be, but I got off of that bandwagon and now I'm sober.
It was a dark time. She was a different person then.
You know, good riddance, have a nice life, and you move on.
I just want her to leave me alone.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hebert versus Cry. Step forward.
Cassandra Hebert is suing motorist Nina Cry for damages to her car caused by an accident on the road.
Miss Cry, you loaned your car to the probable accident. You were not in the car, is that correct?
I was driving his car.
You were not in the car?
Correct.
On the date of the accident, stand up, please. On November 15th, 2015, who was your insurance company?
It was Farmers.
And was the car fully insured on that date?
Yes.
Great. You can have a seat. Tell me about the accident.
On November 2015, I let Aaron borrow my car To go pick up a friend.
You lent him the car?
Yes, ma'am.
So you weren't driving?
No.
You weren't in the car?
No.
Sit down. You were driving?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you living together at the time?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you still living together?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you rent a room?
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm do heating and air conditioning.
Okay, go over there and show me what happened.
Okay, this is me here in the orange car. I was about 40 feet back here. Miss Cry was over here on Juniper Street. I was doing about 35 miles an hour on the main street, headed east, when this truck here slowed down and was going to take a right, but she couldn't turn onto the street here, so I was still in the inside lane here and was going to pass the truck, and she pulled out, and I hit her right in the driver's side door.
So what you're telling me is you couldn't see past the truck?
Correct.
And she says that the truck waved you on to go around him?
No, that was Miss Cry.
The truck waved me out to go out. I was in the clear.
Because the truck couldn't make the turn?
Because he was behind the truck.
But I wasn't behind the truck.
You didn't see him behind the truck?
I saw him behind the truck.
No, you
far
didn't see him behind the truck.
That's why
The
I thought I was in the clear.
You were so go over there. The truck told you to make a turn.
I was coming out trying to make a left.
No. You're pointing to trees. You were coming out from where to make a turn?
Off Juniper to take a left on the start.
You were coming to an intersection. You wanted to make a turn, so the person going straight has the right of way.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a that's a yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So the plaintiff had the right of way.
Yes.
And you made a left turn, cutting him off.
No, he was behind the truck, and the truck even saw that he was behind me. That's why the
don't
truck...
tell me what the truck saw.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, he has the right of way, and you were making a left turn.
Mm-hmm. He was behind the truck.
And he can't be behind. How could he be behind the truck?
Because he was behind the truck, and he went around the truck like a bat out of hell and hit me. The truck even waved me out. The truck even waved me out because I was in the clear.
He has the right of way. Okay, go back. Okay, is there a police report?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
It's right here.
Vehicle 1 was turning left, and vehicle 2, that was your vehicle, going straight forward.
Correct.
Can I see pictures of the car, please?
Yes. I also have this paper from her insurance company at the time that states that we were not at fault.
I'd like to see it. You have anything from your insurance company?
It's just our insurance, the policy.
I'd like to see it. What kind of car is your car?
A Mazda 626, 2002.
Would you look it up for me, Bert? Did you ever tell them that you would pay for the damage to the car?
No.
Did she ever tell you that she would pay for the damage to the car?
She actually made a down payment of $200.
When?
In December of 2015.
That wasn't for the car.
What was it for?
Is because she...
What did you didn't know her before this accident?
She was harassing me, texting me over and over and over.
That's ridiculous. What's the car worth?
$1,250.
Where's the car now?
It got scrapped.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,250. We're done. Thank you.
Oh, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It was pretty fair.
Just to be more cautious.
I wasn't at fault.
They didn't have insurance at the time.
She was saying that she lost her job, that she had a kid, that she was a lawyer.
I lost out on getting a job. I didn't lose a job.
I had to change my number because she was harassing me, texting me so much.
I guess if trying to get my money was harassment, then I'm guilty.
You drove off with the ATV. You bought it.
Selling his off-road vehicle left him stuck.
How much were you asking for this ATV?
$3,400.
It didn't make any difference to him because he stopped payment on the check.
Now this buyer's in for a bumpy ride.
He told me that he would happily take it back if there's anything I did not like.
Is that what you told him?
No.
Of course not. It's not going to be good for you.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This, let's go. is suing 19-year-old Zachary Bergeron for stopping payment on a check for an ATV he sold him.
Order. All rise. It's case number 377 on the calendar in the matter of Matsko versus Bergeron. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
How old are you?
19.
What do you do for a living?
Right now
It's not an answer.
I'm doing construction.
How many days a week? It's not an answer.
5.
For whom?
My friend's family.
Who's this?
That's my friend Noah. He's my witness in this case.
It's not going to be good for you. You answered an ad that Mr. Matsko put on Craigslist for an ATV, and you went to his house in September. Do you remember the date in September?
No, ma'am.
What was the date in September?
It was Labor Day of September. It was a Monday.
What did you need an ATV for?
To go riding with my friends.
How much were you asking for this ATV?
$3,400.
The defendant came to look at it?
Yes, ma'am.
And he agreed to pay you the $3,400?
Yes, he wrote me a check.
When had you purchased this ATV?
In 2012.
How much did you pay for it?
I paid $3,500 for it.
Well, explain to me how it only depreciated $100 since you bought it 4 years ago.
Because I put a snorkel kit on it, and the engine has also been rebuilt. So I was wanting to get a boat, so I was selling that to buy a boat.
That's the price he agreed to.
Yes.
Sounds a little much to me after 4 years, but that's the price that he agreed to. It didn't make any difference to him because he stopped payment on the check.
Correct.
After he left your premises with the ATV. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
And you never met him before?
No, ma'am.
So this is an arm's length transaction. And what the plaintiff said to you was, pay careful attention. I'll take the check. I'm holding on to the title. When the check clears, I'll give you the title. That sounds like a normal thing that this normal person would say to you, right?
Yes.
And that's what he said, not this nonsense that you wrote in your answer.
He told me that...
No, now you're thinking. Now you're thinking. Remember what you wrote? Yeah. Remember what you wrote in your answer?
Yes,
Do you
I did.
remember? Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see. Tell me what you said.
I told him that I would write him the check, I'd give him the check as collateral to take the ATV home, and that he would mail me the title. And he told me that it was in perfect condition, nothing was wrong with it, and that he would happily take it back if there's anything wrong with it or if there's anything I did not like.
Is that what you told him?
No.
Of course not. Of course not. Gave him a check, he gave you the merchandise that you purchased, and then your friend was with you, right?
Not this one, but a different
one.
He could not come, but he gave me a written statement.
I don't do written statements. I'm not going to take his testimony either. You drove off with the ATV.
Yes, ma'am.
You bought it. Now, he canceled the check.
Yes, ma'am.
Because Monday the banks were closed, you couldn't go in. So what did you do? You went in on Tuesday?
I tried to go Tuesday to my credit union because I also have a credit union. I've cashed other banks that are also credit unions at my credit union before, but for some reason they would not cash this check. His bank is all the way in Merritt Island, which is approximately 2 hours from my house. So he's a very nice kid. So I asked him if he could bring me the cash and we could just exchange title and bill of sale then. He said absolutely. So he sent me a text message.
On what date?
That was on Wednesday of that same week.
So now he's had the ATV Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have text messages to establish that.
Correct.
Okay, so on Wednesday he wasn't complaining, moaning, anything else about the condition of the ATV?
No, it's still running good.
Fine, go ahead. Right. Show me.
And also just got it serviced.
What are these messages?
Those are text messages.
You pay to fix it, I keep it. I'm not reading all these emails. All I want to see is the emails.
Oh, those are text messages. That's the only way.
Text messages, whatever they are. The text message waited for cash.
Okay.
That's what I want to see. And the date.
On your phone, man.
We can use text messages through the phone?
Sure. Bring it up.
I just want to see the date. He picked up the ATV on Monday. I want to see the first date he complained to you that something was wrong with the car. So if you date it back, if he said to you on Wednesday, I can give you the cash, that means that he was still not complaining of any damage and his friends had been hopping around on the ATV. By the way, how did they get it from your house to where he was in Rhode Island?
Merritt Island, in the back of his pickup truck. Okay, so I called him and let him know. So he actually sent me, said, hey, I got the money. I'll head to your house around 6.
What date was that?
This is September 8th.
September 8th, which was what date?
It was a Wednesday.
Can I see that? Hey, I got the money. This is Thursday, September 8th, not Wednesday,
Oh, I
September
apologize.
8th. Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Hey, I got the money. I'll head out to your house around sale and the title. Sounds good. Then on Thursday, September 8th at 1:55 p.m., there's no oil plug in the bike. Hey, is it okay if I just bring the bike back to you? And you said he has problems with the bike. He says, I'm not taking the bike back. I will help you fix what you did, though. Listen, you put the wrong plug in the bike, so I'll be a nice guy and bring the bike back, and I would appreciate it if I could bring my check and ID to your mechanics on my way to your mechanics right now. There's a thing called an oil light, and you didn't pay attention to it and ran it with no oil. Not taking something back from a kid who knows nothing about ATVs. I'm being nice and helping you fix it. He brought back the bike?
Yes.
And you had it fixed?
No, my mechanic, they tore it down, actually. They gave me a price just for parts because it is a family friend. They were present.
All I want to know is...
I'm sorry, $2,500. And actually a shop, the dealer, is going to charge $4,800 to fix it. So I'm trying to be as nice as possible to him.
Well, you are, because otherwise you're really entitled to the entire $3,400.
Exactly.
You are. You understand that? Baby. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,500, which is what you're requesting. We're done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I was honestly, I felt really bad for him because it was just a really unfortunate situation. And
I went down the street with it, and
you know, things happen in life. And
all the oil was all over the street.
Honestly, I have no idea. You know, just bad luck.
And I went to put more oil in it, and there's no plug. And he told me he put a boat plug in it.
I put an aftermarket plug. It was not a boat plug. It's an aftermarket plug for stripped oil plugs.
No light came on.
And I've had that thing in there for 2 years, never had a problem with it.
He told me that it was not my fault that he put a boat plug in there and that it came out and it blew.
Had other people ride it, had it in 4 feet of water. Never an issue.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Donovan versus Ayers, step forward.
22-year-old Nevin Donovan is suing Jared Ayers for crashing into his parked car while he was driving drunk.
Mr. Donovan, prior to November 2nd of this year, had you ever met Mr. Ayers?
I have not.
And this, I assume, is your brother?
Yes.
You and your brother were looking at a house to rent? Or
an apartment, yes.
An apartment to rent? And that was on the 2nd of November of this year. According to you, while you were inside, you heard a crash outside. You came outside and saw that the defendant had hit your parked car. And it appeared as if his airbag imploded and he was injured. And your car was severely damaged. That's what you're suing for,
yes,
the damages to your car. Mr. Ayers has a counterclaim for his medical bills. He was seriously injured, and he says that the accident happened when you were carelessly backing out of a driveway and claiming for his medical bills. I assume you have a police report
yes, Judge.
That day, and I assume you have your medical reports, yes. Not your bills, the reports from the hospital.
I have the bills only. I don't have the reports.
I'm not interested in the bills.
All right. Then no, Your Honor.
If you don't have the report from the EMT that took you to the hospital, I'm not interested in your counterclaim. Do we understand each other?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because the medical reports would tell me whether or not you were drunk, right?
Yes.
Because they would tell me whether the emergency room people at the time of your admission to the hospital on November 2nd said that you were incoherent or high or drunk, right?
Yep.
Right. So, why don't you tell me what happened, Mr. Donovan?
Well, my brother and I were inside of our new apartment with our landlord going over our final agreement for renting. That's when we heard 2 loud bangs. We looked out the window and saw a truck that was crashed in the woods. So all 3 of us ran outside. We heard a cry for help. So I told my landlord to call 911, and me and my brother assisted him out of the truck.
That was him?
Yes.
He was in a truck?
Yes.
Airbag exploded?
I didn't see the airbag.
You didn't?
Nope, I don't know if it went off because his head hit the windshield. There is a big mark where his head hit. So I noticed he had head trauma, so I helped him across the street and told him to sit down because I know we have head trauma, you shouldn't be standing. That's when my brother noticed the damage to my Mustang. I walked over and gave my statement.
May I see pictures of the car?
Those first pictures are the location, and then the other pictures are the actual damage.
Well, you have pictures of the woods where his truck ended up?
That's where his truck ended up, yes.
Now, may I see the police report, please?
Yes, you may.
Have insurance when you were driving, Mr. Ayers?
No, Your Honor.
Did they suspend your driver's license?
Yes.
Well, you told the police that you swerved to avoid a deer.
Your Honor, I didn't remember what had happened after the impact. Oh, the impact of the airbag.
Well, you didn't tell that to the police. You made up a story. The story was, told me he swerved to avoid a deer and struck a parked car. He told me that his truck bounced off the sidecar and continued across the street into the woods. I could smell the odor of an intoxicating beverage coming from Ayers' breath when he spoke and noticed his eyes were bloodshot and glassy. I asked how much he had to drink and he said nothing. I asked him again and he said 1 shot. I asked him if he would be willing to submit to testing and he told me he wasn't going to take any tests and he was done talking. That sounds all pretty coherent to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
your whole defense is that you paid and therefore there was no basis to have the car repossessed. Look at me. Don't look over there. Show me proof that you paid.
I don't have any proof with me.
Where did you think you were coming today? To the beach?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Nevin Donovan says an intoxicated Jared Ayers crashed into his parked car. Jared is countersuing for his medical bills.
I asked how much he had to drink, and he said nothing. I asked him again, and he said 1 shot. I asked him if he would be willing to submit to testing to determine his ability to operate a motor vehicle, and he told me he wasn't going to take any tests, and he was done talking. That sounds all pretty coherent to me. So, you have no case for your medical bills. You were driving drunk without insurance. Yeah, I know. Can I see the bill for fixing your car? When did you purchase the car, Mr. Donovan?
Mid-September.
And how much did you pay for it? Don't give me a number.
$3,000.
Too much, we're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I gave him a week to recover from the initial crash because I figured he was probably in the hospital.
Well, I was heading home, coming back from the store.
And I called him, and he seemed pretty sorry.
He decided he was going to pull out in front of me after I'd flicked my high beams at him.
He said, just give me a week to come up with the money, and I'll pay you.
As he was leaving the premises, I swerved to avoid him.
So I gave him the week to come up with the money. Called him back again.
Flipped his car and the airbag went off.
And I don't know if it was his father or his brother answered the phone.
He was trying to hustle me for more money than what the car was worth.
And he told me to pretty much stop calling and to contact his lawyer.
And I found out what his initial quote was, and I said, that's it, no more.
Don't drive drunk.
Yeah, just watch out for scammers. They're all around.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of James versus Ings. Step forward.
Sarita James is suing her daughter, 20-year-old Justice Ings, for the costs associated with a Kia that was repossessed.
Ms. James, the defendant is your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And this case is about a car.
Yes, ma'am.
The time that you co-signed on this car for your daughter, she was living with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was in what month and year?
Well, I co-signed for the car in April of 2016.
Okay. Shortly after she bought the car, according to she moved out. In what month did she move out?
I would have to say...
The car was repossessed. And the car was repossessed, according to your daughter, because you were instrumental in having the car repossessed. What your claim is that she did not make payments for 3 months on the car, and therefore the car was repossessed. And it was repossessed in August. Is that right?
She
is that
took
right?
the car from me in August.
In August. Now, missing. Your defense is that your mother had no right to repossess the car because you had paid June and July's car payment. That's what you wrote in your answer.
Yes.
Right? You paid June and July. Say you were late in August, but you paid June and July. Certainly, the company would not have repossessed the car if you were just late in August. So now show me proof that you paid June and July.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why are you smiling?
I'd rather smile than frown. It shouldn't be a harm in me smiling. I didn't know.
You'd rather smile than frown?
Right.
Is that what you said? You'd rather smile than frown?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sarita James says her daughter, Justice Ings, owes for a Kia she helped her buy and was ultimately repossessed.
The company would not have repossessed the car if you were just late in August. Lie.
I don't have any proof with me.
Yeah, that's your problem. Where did you think you were coming today? To the beach? No. Your whole defense is that you paid car payments June and July, and therefore there was no basis to have the car repossessed. That's what you swore to in your answer. Look at me. Don't look over there. Now, do you need time to get the proof?
No.
So that you have no proof that you paid June and July?
Basically.
Basically. Basically is not an answer. Basically is a filler word. So the answer is you have no proof that you paid June and July.
Correct.
Good. Okay. They sold the car at auction?
Yes.
And how much is the deficit?
$10,917.
Why are you smiling?
I'd rather smile than frown.
What?
I'd rather smile than frown. It shouldn't be a harm in me smiling. I didn't know.
You'd rather smile than frown? Is that what you said? You'd rather smile than frown? Does your mother work? Does your mother work?
To my understanding, yes.
Well, you were living with her, with a kid.
No, I was the one working.
So your mother wasn't working?
Oh, yeah, at the time of co-signing, that's the only way she was able to co-sign. She was working at the time, yeah.
You needed a co-signer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you make June and July's car payment?
She know I made the payment.
All you have to do is show me that you made the payment. You either made the payment by going into a bank or it came out of a checking account.
Right.
I mean, how did you pay for it?
I don't have my bank account. I closed both of them that I made the payment from.
That's okay. They can give it to you as long as it's in the last year.
I've tried to get it. They sent me the wrong statement. I got frustrated, and I was like, whatever. I know I paid it, so.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Who paid June and July?
I did.
You have proof?
Well, I paid July and August.
May I see the proof?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do, Miss James?
I'm in the medical field, medical billing, coding.
Have you done that for long?
Yes, I've been in the medical field for over 10 years.
What does your daughter do?
Right now, I'm not sure because we have not had a relationship. I have not been speaking with her, or I have not even seen my grandchild.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, this is an excuse. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I initially called them because I can't make the payment. I have my own car payment to make.
I was shocked. I didn't know what happened. I knew it couldn't have been Kia because, like I said, I made a payment arrangement.
And being that I couldn't find anyone to take over the payments, I thought the best decision for me.
And when she called me saying that they was going to repossess the car, I knew that was a lie. She just didn't want me to have it.
Would be to call them and to have the car repoed.
She started this. It could have went a different way. It's not what was done, it's how we went about doing it.
Well, I took it however I could and when I could. So if that's the way I had to do it, then yes.
It's whatever. As long as she got the money, she can take care of it, clear her name with the car. I'm done.
Well, I'm hoping that this will at least give us an opportunity to reconcile.
I just want our bond to get back better. Like, I felt like I lost my best friend. Like, this was not worth me losing my relationship with her.
So that I can see my granddaughter and so that I can be in the lives of my daughter and my granddaughter.
There was something that was not satisfactory to you.
Several things.
Wig makers wanted her out of their hair.
I took the wig apart and reconstructed it. We fixed
in over their heads.
She was supposed to take measurements of my head to ensure that the wig would fit correctly. She didn't do that.
Is that correct?
Not with the measuring tape, no.
You did the wrong thing, Caitlin.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Abidemi Glasgow is suing salon owner Toyka Troutman Walker and stylist Kaylin Spooner for a refund for a custom-made wig.
Order. All rise. It's case number 394 on the calendar, the matter of Glasgow versus Troutman Walker Spooner.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat, please.
Ms. Glasgow, the defendant made you a custom wig, and you want your money back.
Correct.
When did they make you the wig?
I went in to place the order for the wig in October.
And when was the wig delivered to you?
It was never delivered to me.
Did you go and pick it up?
I did.
On what date?
That was November 25th.
Of 2015?
15.
And when you went in to pick it up, did you try it on?
I did.
And did you leave the shop with it?
No, I did not.
You left it there to you?
Several things.
Okay. And you left it there, and when did you go back and pick it up again?
In January that I went to go pick it up again.
January what?
I don't have the exact date in January.
How were you contacted that it was ready and that the adjustments were made to it? Did they call you? Did they send you an email?
She called me. She gave me a call.
You. On what date?
I don't know the date that she called me.
Do you have the date that you called her and said it was ready?
Yes, ma'am. We called her on January 10.
And do your records indicate what you did to the wig between November 25th and January 10th?
Yes, so what I did to the wig was I ended up, because she requested...
Don't tell me, just tell me what you did to it.
So I took the wig apart and reconstructed it.
Well, if you took the wig apart and reconstructed it, it must have been not right on November 25th.
The edit she requested that she wanted done required me to take it apart.
Like what?
So this is a handmade wig, and this is the same type of wig that she received.
No. I don't want to see same type of wig. I want you to tell me...
Well, the edits that she wanted, so this is where the closure was set. She wanted it set further over to the side so she could get a deeper side part. So that required me to take it apart because I had to move hair around.
Had that side part been part of her order when she came in?
It was slightly offset, which we agreed to, because if I moved it too far down, she wouldn't have enough hair on the side. Yes.
And it wasn't initially made off to the side?
Not enough, no.
It was not? Okay, so you agreed with that, so you took it apart and you had to redo it?
Yes.
And then you were called on January 10th, and you picked it up on what date?
Can I give you a little bit more background to this? I went to go pick the wig up on the 9th. I have
January.
It right here.
I thought you said you didn't know.
It's right here. I found it. It's on the 9th that I went to go pick the wig up. There were several things that I requested, and this is the second time. When I originally went to go have the wig ordered, I asked for a wig that had a deep side part.
Listen to me. We're past that.
Okay.
You ordered the wig, it came in, you weren't satisfied, and they agreed to make an adjustment. Did you pay for the wig on November 25th?
I paid for the wig on October.
In October,
Correct.
October 20th. Okay. And the cost of the wig was how much?
$647.32.
Which you paid by credit card?
Correct.
Now then, came back, you went in on the 9th, not the 10th?
Correct.
And what happened on the 9th?
It was not correct. There were some adjustments that were made.
But it wasn't satisfactory enough?
It was not.
You wanted other adjustments made?
The adjustments that were supposed to be made.
Okay. And what happened on the 9th?
When I went in on the 9th, the wig still wasn't what I wanted. Caitlin told me that still wasn't offset. She told me that you can easily part the hair on the other side, and if you want the deep part effect, you can just cock the wig to the side.
Who's Caitlin?
She's the stylist.
Is that you?
I'm Caitlin, yes.
At that point, I had waited so long to get this wig, had been back and forth, and
well, you only were there so far once.
I was there 2 other times before, a total of 4 times I was there.
You mean between October and January?
Correct, because what was supposed to happen when I originally went in is that she was supposed to take measurements of my head to ensure that the wig would fit correctly the first time I went in. She didn't do that. I later on found out that she was supposed to do that. So I had to make another appointment to go in to have the measurements taken.
On what date did you go in to take the measurements?
Made an appointment with Caitlin to have the measurements taken, which she was 30 minutes late to.
Ms. Glasgow, not interested. You went in, you ordered the wig, you made an appointment to go in and have your head measured. On what date did you go in and have your head measured?
She didn't show up for that appointment, so I had to make another appointment.
On what date did you go in to have your head measured?
December 11th.
So is what you're telling me that they delivered a wig to you without taking measurements of your head?
Correct.
So you went in, they gave you a wig taken of your head until December 11th?
Correct.
Is that correct? Just listen to me. She comes in on October 20th. You delivered a wig to her on November 25th that was unsatisfactory. Did you schedule an appointment with her subsequently to take measurements of her head? The answer is either yes or no.
Yes.
Did you take measurements of her head on October 20th? The answer is, listen to me, the answer is either yes or no.
Not with the measuring tape, no. We tried, I put the wig cap on her head.
Nah, that's not the way you do it. You know that, and I know that. That's not the way you do it. Okay, so then what happened is back and forth, and it still didn't work. So you initially gave her a wig that was not a custom wig. It was a wig, but it was not taken to her specification, not to her measurements. Okay, you weren't happy with it.
Correct.
Anyway, you put a stop on your card, they took the money out of the account, then you said, I don't agree with that, then they put money back in your account, whatever. You sent the wig back to them.
Correct.
And ultimately, the credit card company agreed with them with whatever story they told them, which did not go into in depth with this measurement, and you're out the money and you don't have the wig.
That's correct.
Yeah, right. Well, you did the wrong thing, Caitlin. I don't care what you're going to tell me, $700, and there was no need to take, listen to me, madam, if there was no need to take measurements, then either Caitlin was just schmoozing her around when she said, come in and I'll take measurements of your head with a tape measure. No, ma'am. Listen to me. Either she was just schmoozing her around and said, come back in December and I'll take measurements of your head, or she didn't take them the first time, which she should have. Yes, now.
Thank you.
No,
first,
did you make that wig?
Yes, we did.
No, not we. Did you make it?
Me personally,
Yes.
no. I own the salon, and I am.
Just a second. Did you make the wig?
Yes, I made both of these.
Yeah, no, it's all I'm interested in. It's just her, not you.
Well, can I explain the part about Well, I have a contract here with Damien.
I don't care. If your salon, that's why we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
If your salon, when you make a wig, a custom wig, what you do is take measurements.
No, ma'am. Not initially.
You mean you make a wig without taking measurements? You don't make a cap?
There are 3 cap sizes that are predetermined, and the predetermined cap size was tried on her head by the stylist. It did fit her head. Before making the second wig, which she has asked us to make after we agreed that it was not offset enough for her.
Because it was not done to her specifications.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So it was not done to her satisfaction?
No,
and of
to her
course, we're going to go above
specifications.
to her specs and satisfaction the wig. At that time, she did take measurements of her head. She did move and reconstruct the wig completely. In fact, she got another cap to remake the wig. So the way that it's done the second time would be to the specifications of her head. So the first wig, we all agreed, was not satisfactory to her. So we fixed it. So in terms of giving her the money back and she's out of the wig.
She wasn't happy with it the second time either.
She wasn't happy with it the second time because of a different reason that she has not yet disclosed to any of us.
Same reason. What she fixed the first time was when she made the wig, it fit too far down on my neck. So when I went to go pick it up the second time, she had cut, I guess, one of the tracks off. The closure was still in the same position, and the part was still on the wrong side, which I have pictures to show you.
Can I? Yeah, I'd like
Can
to
I
see
let you know what
I'd like
this picture is?
I'd like to see the picture.
This is where...
No, don't tell me. Just show me. Just show me. And show me the paid bill for it. Could you show these to the defendant, please? You're supposed to have satisfied customers. What's your last name?
My name?
Yeah, last
Troutman
name.
Walker.
Ms. Walker, you're supposed to have satisfied customers. She wasn't happy. You didn't do the right thing the first time, and she wasn't happy with it the second time. I can see what she's talking about when she says that the bottom part was cut off.
I have photos as well, and I also have an agreement that
I don't care about the agreement. She's dissatisfied with your product.
I understand that it's hair. So when you go into a situation with hair and a custom unit, we will do everything we can to fix it. And we worked with her about fixing it, and we are still able to fix it. However, she signed an agreement prior to buying the wig, agreeing that she knows it's a custom unit, it cannot be returned, but we are willing to do it until it is correct.
It's
it
not
is
a career.
hair, we can't resell it.
It's not a career. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $647. Buying a wig should not be a career. You should be satisfied within 6 months. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
We do everything that we can to please our clients.
It wasn't disheartening the first time, but the second time when I went back.
But some clients you just can't please.
And she told me that she reconstructed the wig and made it over, and it was obvious that she didn't.
No matter what you do.
I was done playing games. I just want my money back.
Oh, absolutely time to move forward. I have no hard feelings against it.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Principe versus Hawley. Step forward.
Candace Principe is suing her former son-in-law, James Hawley, for an unpaid loan to pay his bills.
Miss Principe, the defendant is your former son-in-law.
That's correct.
And it's my understanding from reading the papers that you and your daughter do not enjoy a reasonable relationship. So your contact with your grandchildren is through the defendant.
It has been.
For how long?
Since about February 2016.
That's when you had a falling out with your daughter?
I had a falling out with my daughter in September of 15. And I hadn't seen my grandchildren for 5 or 6 months, so I contacted James to see if I could see him.
According to you, you loaned him $3,000.
That's correct.
Mr. Hawley doesn't deny that you gave him $3,000, but he says that's exactly what it was. It was a gift. There was no discussion about him repaying that money to you. Is that right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What does your former mother-in-law do for a living?
Gamble.
So she gambles as a profession?
That's what my understanding is, yes.
Is that correct?
But I don't make any money. I lose money.
So you don't work?
No, ma'am.
So where did you get this $3,000 from?
Real Candace Principe says former son-in-law, James Hawley, owes for a loan.
So let's go back. How old are you, sir?
36.
And how old are your children?
We have quite a wide variety. The oldest is 16.
Her grandchildren?
Her grandchildren are 16, 14, and 13.
Who do they live with?
The oldest lives with me, and the other 2 live with their mom.
Was there ever a time that all 3 of them visit with you or stay with you together?
No.
No. So that when the plaintiff came to visit the children, are you telling me that it was only one child at your home that she came to visit?
That lived with me, yes. The other 2, they come with me every other weekend.
So would she see all 3 of them at
Yes.
your house? Well,
Yes.
that's what I asked you. So she would see all 3 of them when she came to visit you?
Yes.
Did you ever let her take the children out?
Yes.
Without you?
Yes, I did. And I was reprimanded by their mother for doing so.
Just a second. When she came to visit and you let her take them out for the afternoon, did she return them?
Yes.
Were they okay?
They were.
How many times did you let her do that?
Twice.
And when you say you were reprimanded by their mother, you were reprimanded by their mother who shares custody with you?
Correct.
Because she and her mother are off?
Yes.
What kind of work do you do?
I install TV and satellite service.
Why were you having financial difficulties?
I was hurt, not at work, and I was waiting for a disability claim to be approved. I wasn't getting paid. That was from May until October.
Are you back at work?
I am.
When did you go back to work?
October.
Did you ever get the disability claim resolved?
It was denied.
So you went back to work?
Shortly thereafter, yes.
And now it's 3 months later and you're still working?
Yes. After I returned to work, within a couple of days of me returning to work, Jennifer was laid off of work, which is normal for her work.
Who's Jennifer?
Jennifer, my witness.
Who is she?
She's my girlfriend.
I don't care about her. I mean, it's not that I don't care about you. You look like a perfectly nice person. So you ran into financial difficulty?
Yes.
And you told your former mother-in-law about that when she came to visit with the children?
Yes.
You told her that you needed money?
I didn't tell her that I needed money. She came by after, there was some visitation with the children. Candy's intent was, that she
Don't tell me what her intent was. Her intent calls for the operation of your mind. Unless somebody tells you that they're having some financial difficulties, it's not the first thing that you might ask someone. Are you having financial difficulties? You say, how are you? How do you feel? All the other things that normal people usually say. You have any plans for tonight? I'm going to take the kids here. The reason that someone knows that you're having financial difficulties is because you tell them.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Tell me what the conversation was.
I was wondering whether we could set something up, a monthly payment, or do something.
Where did that conversation take place? I want you to know, so far I'm unimpressed with you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Candace Principe says former son-in-law, James Hawley, owes for a loan.
So you told her that you were having financial issues?
Yes, she wanted to do something.
Don't tell me what she wanted to do. That calls for the operation of her mind. Do you understand?
Yes.
What she thinks, what she wished, what she hoped for, what she wanted, calls for you to crawl in here and I'm not interested, neither is the law interested in your reading her mind, only in what you say to her and what she says to you. What does your former mother-in-law do for a living?
Gamble.
Well, she has to gamble with something. What does she gamble with?
Her money.
Money. And where does she get her money?
As far as I know, from gambling.
So she gambles as a profession.
That's what my understanding is, yes.
Is that correct?
No, ma'am. My spouse, he supports me. I do make money off gambling, but I don't support myself off of gambling.
What do you mean you do make money off of gambling?
Because we like, that's one of the things we like to do together. But I don't make any money, I lose money.
So you don't work?
No, ma'am.
So where did you get this $3,000 from?
I had talked to my spouse, Dennis, here if we could loan James the money so we could pay his rent so he wouldn't get a heavy equipment operator. And I have filed for disability for my spinal conditions.
For your what?
I have spinal stenosis in my cervical and lumbar.
When was the last time you were employed?
It'd be 2 years ago.
Doing what?
House cleaning. I did that for 30 years.
Was that your own business, or did you work for somebody else?
I worked for my own business and working for other people.
Okay. Would you stand up, please? Tell me your last name.
Reiki, R-A-K-E.
Mr. Reiki, this is your wife?
Soon to be.
So she's your fiancée?
Yes.
How long have you lived together?
6.5 years.
Did you take out the money from a bank account in order to give it to her, to give to her former son-in-law?
Yes, ma'am.
When was that?
Approximately May of 2015.
No.
When?
It's June 2016.
Okay, June 2016.
Did you ever have any personal conversation with the defendant about paying you back?
In August.
Don't look at her. Look if you
I'm sorry,
think it's
August of 2016.
Tell me what the conversation was.
I was wondering whether we could set something up, a monthly payment, or do something.
Where did that conversation take place?
Telephone.
Okay, did you call him or did he call you?
He called me.
That's not correct, Your Honor.
Shh. I just want you to know, so far I'm unimpressed with you.
Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, I want you to actually tell me exactly what he said to you and exactly what you said to him.
Okay, it started off, I was asking for some kind of arrangement to make a monthly payment.
And he said?
He said that was between him and Candy, and then I had nothing to do with...
So he said it was between himself and Candace.
Yes.
His former mother-in-law. And you said to him?
That I had loaned her the money and was wanting to figure something out on it.
And what did he say?
He said he knew I wasn't working and that there wasn't anything he could do at that time.
Because he wasn't working?
Right.
And what did you say to him?
I said, we've got to resolve this some way.
And he said?
And that was the end of the conversation, more or less.
Okay, have a seat. You owe her $3,000. You have to start to pay it. Do you understand? Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. We're finished.
Oh, you've got excuse. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Candy's upset because she doesn't get to see her grandchildren.
My thoughts is I'm glad that she saw it as it is.
Because she's a drug addict.
I can't believe that he would accuse me of being a drug addict.
And her own daughter won't allow her around her kids.
When I take my grandkids out to do things, I included his girlfriend's kids. That my daughter and I will hopefully get our relationship back.
There will be none.
That's what counts. I got to continue to see my grandkids, and I love my daughters.
A custody exchange brought out the worst in this mom.
I said, I'm not going to leave until you pay me that $200.
If you love your child, you don't create a scene, which is exactly what you did.
And she sees nothing good about her ex.
You have a father who is both interested, involved.
He's not involved.
That's your problem. You picked him. And if she's a neurotic broad, you picked her. And you chose to make a baby with her.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Joel Knutson is suing his ex-girlfriend, Catherine Harrison, for damaging his guitar while dropping off their child.
Order. All rise. Yeah, it's case number 433 on the calendar, the matter of Knutson versus Harrison.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Knutson, you and the defendant have a child together.
Correct.
A boy?
Yes.
Who's 8?
Technically 9.
9. Did you ever live? And that terminated when?
4 years ago.
So the boy was 5 at the time.
About 4, I think. Close to 5.
And Subsequent to your separation, did you amicably reach a custody arrangement?
We reached a custody arrangement.
In court?
Yes.
And what was that arrangement?
I have about 45% custody, and she has the remainder.
So when is your son with you?
Every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then it's confusing. It works out to be the weekend before the 3rd and the 5th weekend. I have him Friday to Tuesday.
And that's been going on for how long?
3 years.
And do either of you pay child support?
I pay her child support.
How much?
It's about $260 a month, I believe. It's pretty minimal.
No, Your Honor.
Don't interrupt. Do you adhere to the visitation custody arrangement?
I take him. There are some Fridays I work late, and she chooses in our court order. It's left where the parent who can't have him has to let the other parent have first rights of refusal. So occasionally on Fridays I don't have him, but I take him all the other times.
You're a musician?
Correct.
That's how you support yourself?
That's my largest source of income.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm an IT consultant. I work with other businesses to help them with their data systems.
Is that how you support yourself?
Yes.
Are you an independent contractor?
That's right.
Did you file taxes last year?
I did. I don't know, 20,000.
Who do you live with?
I live with my son.
What other subsidies do you get to exist? Not existing on $20,000 a year.
I am, actually. I mean, I live in it's not as expensive in where we live as it is here in California, and sometimes we eat beans and rice, but we do okay. I get the $200 from Mr. Knutson, $216 from Mr. Knutson every month. I don't know. Some months are tighter than other months, and I mean, we're certainly not rich.
You drive a car?
Yep.
What kind of car do you drive?
It's a Subaru.
What year?
It's a 05. I was given it by my mom when she bought a new car. She sold it to me for...
You live alone with your son and you pay rent?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yes is the answer. And what's your rent?
$975 a month.
You have insurance for your car?
I do.
And how much is the insurance a month?
$40 or $50 a month.
With $1,000 a month rent, I'm not figuring out how you're working. I'll let it go. If you can see that there's a frustration that I have with your answer and with the scene that you caused when you brought your son to his house, over $200. Do you understand?
$200 is a lot of money.
I don't care if it's $200. I don't care if it's $3,000. If you love your child, an exchange of custody, you don't want to tell me about, which is what this case is all about. This is what the case is about, as far as I gather from the complaint and the answer. You say that he had agreed to give you $200 towards some daycare expense. According to what I'm reading, there was some discrepancy as to what time the child was to be brought to his father's house. There was texting back and forth between the two of you that day, which I'm sure one of you has to show me, where it was clear that there was not an agreement with regard to the $200. That be a fair statement?
Correct.
What time was the child to be brought to your house that day?
12 o'clock on Sundays, on Sunday visits.
What was the date?
It was the 12th of June.
And the arrangement is that you bring the child to his house on Sunday? Is that that's either a yes or a no? It's very easy for me to figure out. No. Is he supposed to pick the child up from your house?
There's no formal arrangement as to who picks up and drops off. On that
June the 12th, were you to bring your son to his
house? Yes, I was. On June the 12th, I volunteered to bring him.
So on June the 12th, you were to bring him to his house?
Yes.
At noon?
Correct.
Did you bring him?
We were running late that day. I did bring him, but we were running late.
How late were you running?
By the time I got there, we were 17 minutes late.
That's not a big deal. 12:17. Were you at home?
Miss Harrison, if I could pick up our son the night before at her house, because we had an engagement with the rest of our family an hour away at 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock on Sunday?
Correct.
Can I see that? Can I see that text?
The texts I have are just about her being late, and it actually does say that I offered to pick her up, or offered to pick him up somewhere here, I guess.
Well, that's what so you wanted to pick him up on the June 11th at night?
No, I wanted to pick him up at 12 o'clock noon on that Sunday.
You wanted to pick him up from her house at 12
Correct.
noon. Did she respond to that text?
She did. She was running late, and I told her that I had to leave or I'd miss the family event.
Can I see those, please? Okay, so whatever it was on this particular Sunday, based upon these things back and forth, you were clearly annoyed with each other.
Yes. And I'd like to add, Your Honor, that she was late so many times I had to take her to court for contempt.
Okay. Well, 15 minutes, 15 or 17 minutes late doesn't mean anything unless you had to be someplace, and then you can always be 15 minutes late. I'm not suggesting that that was a grown-up thing to do. She, in fact, got there at 12:17.
Right. Your Honor, it sounds stupid now, but at the time it was a parade. And they blocked the street at 1. And if I'm not there, I don't see my family. We don't sit together. It's a lost day.
Okay, well then, you should have made arrangements for an earlier pickup and picked up your son earlier than 12 o'clock, picked him up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it would have been maybe better.
Right.
Also, Your Honor, we cross paths. Like, he drives past my house, and my route from my house to his house, we could have pulled over anywhere. We could have pulled over at a gas station or anywhere. Along that route. He could have picked him up, but he didn't want to. He wanted to be able to say that I was getting in his way.
When you finally got there, you brought the child to his house. What time was it?
I sent a text to him. He told me that he was on the highway, be on time next time at 12:19.
No, I have that here. What time did the boy finally get to his father's?
At 7 p.m.
7 o'clock.
We tried to call him all day. He didn't answer his phone.
Just a second.
Sure.
7 o'clock. Now, I want you to tell me what happened at 7 o'clock.
So at 7 o'clock, I
pulled up in front of his house.
Pulled up in front of his house, went with her. Mr. Knudsen opened the door. My son went in the house. I went in after him into the house, and I told him that I wasn't going to leave until he paid me the $200 that he agreed that he would pay me. He told me he would pay me the $200. And I said, I'm not going to leave until you pay me that $200. And he said, I'm not going to pay you. I said, okay, fine. He has a number of guitars sitting by the door. So not to steal a guitar, not to wreck a guitar, but to prove a point. There was a guitar right there. I put it on my shoulder. I said, fine, I'll take this guitar. So
you can't do that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
It wasn't my best day.
Just a second. Not only wasn't it your best day, but it was probably so miserable for your 9-year-old that day because you were annoyed all day, and clearly he didn't want to let you in the house. You sort of pushed your way through.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Joel Knudsen says ex-girlfriend Catherine Harrison damaged his guitar while dropping off their child. Catherine is countersuing for daycare expenses.
Okay, I want you to tell me what happened at 7 o'clock.
Mr. Knudsen opened the door. My son went in the house. I went in after him, and I told him that I wasn't going to that he would pay me. He told me he would pay me the $200. And he said, I'm not going to pay you. I said, okay, fine. There was a guitar right there. I put it on my shoulder. I said, fine, I'll take this guitar. So
you can't do that.
I know. It wasn't my best day.
Just a second. Wasn't your best? I got it. Not only wasn't it your best day, but it was probably so miserable for your 9-year-old that day.
Yes.
Because you were annoyed all day, and then he gets to his father's house, and the two of you have an argument, and clearly he didn't want to let you in the house. You sort of pushed your way through the door. You weren't leaving. Because that's what his case is about. He says that you broke the door, pushing your way through, and you damaged his guitar. He called the police, okay? And I'm sure he has a police report about that call because the police did, in fact, arrive. That's what the case is about. And you have a counterclaim for the $200.
I do.
Yeah. Okay. So, door. She came in. You blocked the door. You say she came in. She came in despite the fact that you told her not to. I'd like to see the damaged door.
Right. These are the two pictures taken of the door, the bent hinge and the doorknob.
There was no confrontation at the door. He tells me that I broke the door. This is the 5th time, apparently, that I've broken his door, which I'm not breaking doors.
I didn't ask you anything. You have to leave a receipt for the repair of this door?
I do.
I'd like to see it. Now, what happened with the guitar?
Well, what she said is pretty correct up to a point. She pushed her way in the, as she
I just want to know what happened with the guitar.
Well, what happened is, can I show you the guitar? That would be the easiest way to explain it. So, as you can see, this is kind of a flimsy case. There isn't much to it.
It's a soft case.
Yes. And so, She grabbed the case, put it over her shoulder as she was going to take it, and I didn't want to touch her because obviously that would be bad. So I'd called the police, and luckily they showed up on time. And they were there so fast it was ridiculous. So they asked her to put the guitar down. They asked her if she had permission to come in. She of course, said no, she did not. And they asked if the guitar was hers. She said no. So they asked her to put it down. And when she went to put it down, what she did is she actually slammed the case against another case in this fashion. And what happened is it caved the internals in of the guitar, and you can feel it better than you can see it, but I can point it out if you like. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from there, but right here is one of 3 cracks.
Can you get that for me?
And then there's also
Did you
one.
have it repaired?
I actually...
Receipt for the repair.
Yes, and this was a little bit convoluted, Your Honor. I also, in addition to being a musician, I own a retail music store. So first I had one of my state-certified luthiers first attempted to repair it, and he realized it was beyond his repair, so we sent it to another dealer that repairs that brand under warranty. They couldn't fix it, so I have...
There's a crack in the guitar. Are you alleging that she caused this crack in the guitar, this long crack?
Yes, that was all caused from the front getting pushed.
This crack?
Yes.
I'm pointing to this one.
Yep, there's
this
3 cracks. Yep.
Okay, got it.
He would have to somehow prove that. Yeah. I mean, the guitar was in a case.
You have to learn to control yourself. And you picked her. I mean, if she's a neurotic broad, you picked her, and you chose to make a baby with her. So what you did on that day when you brought your son to his house is inexcusable as a parent.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Joel Knudsen is accusing ex-girlfriend Catherine Harrison of damaging his guitar during an argument.
Okay, there's a crack in the guitar, long crack?
Yes.
He would have to somehow prove that. Yeah. I mean, the guitar was in a case.
You have to learn to control yourself. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, it did eventually. It went to one repair facility that's authorized to repair that. They couldn't fix it, so then it was shipped back to the manufacturer. I ended up losing the guitar for 5 months, and I make a good portion of my living with that. They repaired some of it, but they could not repair the top because it's an anniversary super rare guitar and has gold inlays.
Where did you get the guitar from, sir?
I bought it from a store in St. Cloud in 2005.
Do you recall how much you paid for it? I know a little bit about the cost of guitars.
$3,900.
Very expensive. Now I want you to tell me, Miss Harrison, there is a court order of support for $216 a month.
Yes, it's...
That he... I'm speaking.
Sorry.
That he pays to you. And there is a court order that he has 45% custody and you have 55% custody based upon time. Is that
it doesn't
correct?
say a percentage. We actually, by definition, we have joint physical custody and joint legal custody. There's no percentage.
Well, so you don't pay him support. He pays you support.
Yes, 200.
Yeah. Why should he pay you anything?
Because I have...
Just a second. Why should he pay you anything? I mean, if you share, you just told me you share custody, and you share legal custody as well as physical custody. If you were working optimally, when he was his father, his father pays his expenses. Right now, he's paying you court order $216 a month. I don't know what else you do other than this $20,000 that you report to the IRS. So I want you to tell me now, convince me that he agreed to pay beyond what he was already paying by court order to you.
So we had the conversation on the phone. This was in late May. I believe
you called him.
I called him, and we needed to talk about money. The summer was coming. My son's in school during the year, and in the summer you need to make arrangements for an 8-year-old as to what they're going to do all day during the summer while I work, while he works. So the same preschool and child care program that he'd been to since he was 2 years old. They have a program for school-aged children.
Got it.
So it's expensive. It's over $500 a month. I said, I need you to help with this somehow. Can you pay half? He says, oh, no, blah, 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 I can't pay half. Okay, what can you pay? And he said, well, I suppose I could pay you $200. So the $200 wasn't much, but it was enough for me to make that decision. If I knew he wasn't going to pay the $200, I would have made a different decision for that summer in terms of what I would have done for my child for care. He said he was going to pay the $200 for whatever reason. I believed him, and so
all of that conversation.
Yes, she did call me, and the conversation was about the $200, and the way I recollect the conversation was that if I could line up my child care with the same school, that it would make sense for me to help pay for it, but I ended up going somewhere else.
So what you're telling me is that you pay for child care when he's with you?
Only during the summer and only on Monday.
During the summer, but only Monday?
Correct.
So you have a limited responsibility?
Correct.
Do you recall, Mr. Knutson, the amount of $200?
Yes, we did talk about that amount.
Okay. And did you indicate to her that I suppose I could come up with $200?
I told her I wanted to think about it.
No, I don't believe you, Mr. Knutson. I don't believe that at all. Anyway, on your claim, I'm awarding you $2,145.
Your Honor,
for the guitar. I'm speaking. I'm deducting from that the $200 that I believe you agreed to pay her for child care. $1,945. Your counterclaim is therefore dismissed. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,945. And I'm telling you, Ms. Harrison, you've got to control yourself because your primary responsibility is making your child feel secure. Right now, you have a father who is both interested, involved, participates.
I'm sorry.
That's your problem.
I wish
that's
he would
your
be
problem.
involved.
That problem.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Right now, you have a father who is both interested, involved, participates.
I'm sorry.
That's your problem.
It is a
You don't
problem. It is a big problem. It is a big problem.
You make it worse by not being able to control yourself in front of your child. You make his life worse. You picked him. Your son didn't pick him. You picked him, and you picked her. I mean, if she's a neurotic broad, you picked her, and you chose to make a baby with her. It's really so unfair of you because you caused this problem. You caused this problem.
Well,
if you needed an extra $200 and you don't work optimally because
it's
I'm
my
getting
own business
because
I'm growing the business, so
listen,
it's going to continue to make more money for me.
I'm getting the feeling you're not working optimally, and he's paying you support, and you share custody. So what you did on that day when you brought your son to his house is inexcusable as a parent. Inexcusable.
Ma'am, the car's not even worth that much money.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
It's hard for me every single day.
She's
taking care of our son. He's never told me thank you. He's never said, what can I do to help?
She really is a decent woman, and she is overall a good parent.
Either leave me alone and let me do what I need to do to take care of our child, or that he could cooperate, be a normal person.
Hands off the guitars.
Do you have a license to carry a firearm?
Yes, Your Honor.
A roommate relationship reaches a flashpoint.
He starts cursing at me, yelling at me, threatening me.
There's no rational reason why he would start to curse at you.
Then, was he under the gun?
Mr. Yomtov says, you don't talk to my girlfriend. I'm going to kill you. He points it at my face to the point where I can see down the barrel, and he pulled the trigger.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Adam Yomtov is suing his former roommate, Jeff Kester.
Order. All rise. That's case number 441 on the calendar in the matter of Yomtov versus Kester.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
You were roommates for a period of time, and it is your claim, Mr. Yomtov, that the defendant had you falsely arrested for threatening him with a gun.
Correct, Your Honor.
You want $5,000 for the false arrest. Mr. Koster has a counterclaim because he said you did, in fact, threaten him with a gun, and he's been traumatized since. Now, what I gather, the problem that the two of you began to have was about a car that who wanted to purchase?
Mr. Koster.
You wanted to purchase.
I had purchased, but the gun issue was the car.
Shh. You purchased a car.
Correct.
When did you purchase the car?
August of 2016.
And you got it through somebody that Mr. Yamatov put you together with?
Correct.
And Mr. Yamatov said, well, because he made the connection, he should have gotten a commission of $250.
Correct, Your Honor.
I don't care whether that's true or not, because that, in August, started the difficulty between the two of you because he didn't give you the $250.
Correct, Your Honor.
So then you stopped talking to each other. Now, according to what I've read this year, that you were sitting in the living room with your girlfriend?
No, we weren't in the living room.
Where were you?
Kitchen. I was in the kitchen. My girlfriend was in the room taking a nap after work.
Okay. Now, I want you to tell me what happened on this date when the police were called to the house, which would be...
September 1st?
Yes. He says that on that date, you were there with your girlfriend, and he said hi to her. That's what I'm reading, correct?
That's good.
And you said to him, don't talk to my girlfriend, I'll kill you.
False. That's a lie.
Okay.
The defendant claimed that I pulled my firearm from my left pocket, which clearly I'm a righty.
Okay.
He claimed that I...
Do you have a license to carry a firearm?
Yes, Your Honor. I do security, armed security.
Had you ever shown the defendant at any time that you were roommates, had you ever shown him, displayed to him your gun? No, don't look over there.
No.
Look over here.
Occasionally, after my work, I used to come home with full uniform with my firearm on my right wrist. So he noticed
don't tell me what he noticed. That calls for you to have a view into what's in his mind. I asked you whether you ever showed him your firearm.
No, Your Honor.
So on this date, which was September 1st, with $150 commission.
It was a little longer than that. It was about roughly 2 months.
Well, then it wouldn't have been in August that he bought the car.
I'm not certain actually about the date of when he purchased the car.
Can I see the police report?
I do not. The police station, they advised...
Shh. Well, your release date was September 2nd.
Yes.
And your arrest date was September 1st.
Correct.
Okay, and you have no police report.
Did
they confiscate your gun when they arrested you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So I want you to tell me your version of what happened on September 1st. And then he's going to tell me his version of what happened on September 1st.
On September 1st, it was bright and early. Me and him, obviously, as usual, we kind of go back off on it.
No. I want you to tell me on September 1st what happened, not what you usually do.
No, that's exactly how it all escalated.
Well,
on September 1st, in the morning, me and him obviously went back at it, cursing.
No, I don't understand what you meant, back at it.
We're cursing and...
What were you cursing at?
The defendant, it was both ways.
No. You're not on September 1st. My girlfriend was sleeping. I went out into the kitchen. The defendant was in the kitchen. I said to him, he said to me. I said to him, he said to me. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Okay. Now let's go.
On September 1st, I was in the kitchen. My girlfriend just returned from work. She went into the room. She went to take a nap. I was in the kitchen preparing a meal. The defendant came out of his room. He started cursing at me.
No. I don't want you to tell me. He came out of his room.
Okay.
And he came into the kitchen where you were.
Correct.
And what did he say? No, don't think. What did he say?
He starts cursing at me, yelling at me, threatening me. I
don't believe you, sir. I don't believe you. I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Because you're the one who says that he owes you money. He doesn't say you owe him money. Why would he start cursing at you? Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
If something doesn't make sense, it's not true. He has no claim that you owe him money. You believe that he owes you money for something that you didn't give him. Okay. So I don't understand. There's no rational reason why he would start to curse at you.
I advised him.
So let's go.
I advised.
No, don't tell me what you advised.
Okay.
You're in the kitchen.
I saw him. I told him if he can...
No, I told him what?
I told him to please stop using my utensils and my kitchenware, considering I noticed him using them, and not to mention I saw that he was damaging my property. That's when he starts going off at me, telling me if you want...
So you walk in.
Yes.
And you're in the kitchen already.
Correct.
What are you doing in the kitchen?
Preparing a meal.
And when he came in, he came into the kitchen.
Correct.
And exactly what happened when he walked into the kitchen. Now he's walked into the kitchen. You have to remember, I have a crystal ball. He walks into the kitchen. The first thing that you say to him when you saw him was, don't use the utensils in here.
Correct.
He hasn't used the utensils.
And then he starts
Just
yelling.
a second. He hasn't used the utensils.
Yes, he has.
No, not according to you. He walked into the kitchen. I said, what happened when you saw him? You said, first thing I said to him, don't use any kitchen utensils.
He was using them days before and every time for the past week, for that same
No,
week.
all
Your
right,
Honor.
let's go.
Okay.
Let's go. Keep it going.
I told him to stop using it. He starts yelling at me, telling me if you don't want me to using your stuff, take everything in your room and keep it there, and then use it whenever you want, when it's all in your room. Now, Your Honor, I did have a small room.
Listen to me. What you said to him, what he said to you, and what happened in the kitchen.
And I told him, please keep your distance from my girlfriend, because it was kind of bothering me, because he was always trying to cook dinner for her and spoil her and stuff like that, which kind of bothered me. And then I told him, stop. He starts yelling, going off at me, telling me if you want me to not to use him, taking everything into your room and stuff like that. And then that's when he grabbed the kitchen knife. He took 2 steps towards me. I took 2 steps back, and I grabbed the kitchen knife also just to protect myself. That was around 5:45. Then he walks out of the house. He apparently had some AA meetings that he had to go to, and my girlfriend opened the door and she yanked me in. Apparently we woke her up from the yelling. Later that night, Jeff comes back home around 10 o'clock and calls the police and says that instead of me picking up a knife, I picked up a firearm, which he clearly noticed me walk into the house a couple times with. The cops come. They literally did not know what to do. It was a he said, she said kind of case to them. They called their superior. The superior...
Don't tell me what they arrested you.
Yeah, clearly, because I had my firearm at the house.
Good. You want to tell me what happened in the kitchen?
Yes, ma'am. At 5:45, I was in my bedroom.
In the morning?
5:45 in the evening.
In the evening.
I have school at 6:10, college, night classes.
5:45, you're in your room.
And I opened the door. I went to walk out to go to school. I had my books in one hand and a coffee cup in the other. I took 1 step forward toward the left-hand door to go downstairs. Both Mr. Yomtov and Wendy were in the kitchen cooking.
Not true.
I had said to Wendy, good evening, I'm off to school. I was not in the door. Mr. Yomtov says, you don't talk to my girlfriend, I'm going to kill you, and proceeds to pull out a gun out of his left-hand pocket. He takes 1 step forward, and now he's about 6 feet from me. He points it at my face to the point where I can see down the barrel. He had the slide back because...
He had the slide back, not because.
I could see the shine. That's why I told the police the gun had a chrome end.
Go ahead.
And he pulled the trigger. Once he did that, it happened very fast. Wendy was standing behind him in the kitchen. She bails into the bedroom. She just jumps into the bedroom.
Not true.
He laughs at me with, like he got me, a snicker, and then jumps into the bedroom and slams the door and leaves me standing there.
Got it.
Not true, Your Honor.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today...
Let's say he was on his cell phone, talking to Mars. You would acknowledge, Mr. Gutierrez, that if you were going straight, his bike wouldn't have hit you. So the case really hinges on one thing. Was there a sign that said no right turn?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Adam Yomtov, falsely arrested for making threats. Jeff is countersuing for emotional distress.
Go ahead.
He proceeds to pull out a gun, and he pulled the trigger. Once he did that, it happened very fast.
Not true.
He laughs at me with, like he got me, a snicker, and then jumps into the bedroom and slams the door and leaves me standing there.
Got it.
Not true, Your
Sure.
Honor.
Absolutely true. You deserve to get arrested. DA decided not to prosecute it because she covered for you. That's what happened. Your case is dismissed. Judgment on the counterclaim, $1,500. We're done. Thank you.
Your Honor,
We are done.
Why is that excused? You may step out.
The defendant clearly accused me of something, false accusation.
I feel he's a danger to the community.
Cost me money, a lawyer, attorney, move out, bail bond.
He has vanished that gun in other situations.
Headaches, stress, frustration, and I lost a lot of time and money.
I'm in my 5th month of therapy.
In doing so from his false accusation.
Sleeping issues, anxiety.
Clearly he has a grudge against me.
I'm amazed that...
Buy a house and, avoid people like that kind of...
She figured out right on the nail exactly what happened as fast as she did.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter.
Motorist Matthew Gutierrez is suing bicyclist Jeffrey Smith for crashing into his car.
Mr. Gutierrez, you were driving your car on a street that had a bicycle lane. You were aware that there was a bicycle lane as you were driving. It is your claim that you made a right turn from the right turn lane and the defendant hit your car while traveling on his bicycle.
There was no way to be able to get into the right turn lane because there was construction going on at the time.
Well, that's what he says. He says that there was no right turn lane, and he says that there was actually a sign that said no right turn.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your case is that Mr. Smith, while on his bicycle, ran into your car while you were making a right turn. And the question is, was there a sign that said no right turn because of the construction that was going on? That would be important, would it not? Now, the accident happened when?
It was Saturday, March 5th.
Day or night?
During the day.
And the rules of the road for bicyclists are you have the same rules as
vehicles when I'm on the road.
And let us assume, just for argument's sake, on March 5th, that according to you, the car in the right lane could in fact make a right turn. Would it require you to stop?
No, because there is clearance between the right turn lane and the straight vehicle lane, whereby I could pass to the left of a right turning vehicle in parallel with vehicles going straight.
Well, you could, unless you were side by side to the car. Then there wouldn't be a signal that you could see.
That'd be
correct. My
correct.
question is, are you supposed to stop at an intersection? Is that intersection controlled by a light?
It is.
It is. So you both had a green light?
Yes.
So, Mr. Gutierrez, the case really hinges on one thing. Was there a sign that said no right turn?
There was a sign that's not a city ordinance sign.
Just a second. I don't care whether it's a city ordinance sign. Is there a sign that says no right turn?
Yes, when there's construction workers.
Do you have the sign?
I have pictures, yes.
Sure.
So this is the top, and the top three have decent images.
There's a sign that says no right turn.
Exactly, Your
So
Honor,
what were
yeah.
you doing making a right turn?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You made an illegal right turn, which caused the accident.
Can I respectfully ask you to just watch the video briefly?
Listen, I love people who are respectful, and I love to look at video.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Motorist Matthew Gutierrez says bicyclist Jeffrey Smith is at fault for an accident on the road.
There's a sign that says no right turn.
Exactly, Your
So
Honor,
what were
yeah.
you doing making a right turn?
The sign itself is there so that when there's construction workers, for their
Was
safety.
this sign, just a second. My only question to you
is,
was this sign up on the day of the accident?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then you can't make a right turn.
With respect, I'd like to defer on that. There were vehicles making that right turn because there was no construction workers at the time.
Just a second.
They also...
It doesn't say here no right turn when there are construction workers, when little men are working. It doesn't say that. It just says no right turn.
Right, Your Honor. But at that point, when other vehicles were going through, they did not close off that section of the street, so it was not closed off. Vehicles were making that right turn gingerly, making sure you do it safely, since there were no workers
Just a
at the
minute.
time.
Nor is this no right turn sign blinking. So that it says proceed with caution. If you stop and you want to make a right turn, you can make a right turn if there are no little men working. Look, Mr. Gutierrez, this sign says no right turn. Bicyclist going straight and seeing this sign that says no right turn need not be cautious of you because you are not permitted to make the right turn. You have to go straight. And you would acknowledge, Mr. Gutierrez, that if you were going straight, his bike wouldn't have hit you. Right?
Correct.
So if
But
you
not
followed the
necessarily.
rule, this rule, and didn't make a right turn, you wouldn't have had an accident.
Your Honor, there's a situation here. I could have been going straight forward, but at that point he could have hit me because at the time of the impact, when I got out to see if he was okay, he was picking up his bicycle and his cell phone. He was very forthcoming. He told me at that time, oh, well, I'm sorry, I hit your car. I shouldn't have been on my phone. I wasn't paying attention. I was like, okay. So at that point...
Mr. Gutierrez, it's very simple, sir. Let's say he was on his cell phone. Let's say he was talking to Mars.
Okay.
On his cell phone. You broke the law by making a right turn. If there was a policeman there, the policeman could have ticketed you for making a right turn. You, therefore, cannot come to court with dirty hands and say, you know what? There were other people making a right turn, too. And if he hadn't been on his legal right turn, and therefore he wouldn't have hit me. Mr. Gutierrez, you have no case.
But, Your Honor, isn't it illegal for someone to not yield to a vehicle in front of them? I got hit in the rear. I got hit from behind.
You made an illegal right turn, which caused the accident.
Can I respectfully ask you to just watch the video briefly?
Listen, I love people who are respectful, and I love to look at videos. It allows me to clear my head.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go.
Thank you, Your Honor. Oh, there you go. Would you like me to describe a little bit
No.
of it? No? Okay.
This sign says it, you see. He doesn't have to say anything. It just says no right turn.
It's not a city ordinance, and there were no workers, Your Honor. They even removed the
Mr.
crowd.
Gutierrez, you're not paying attention. But I'll look at your video.
Sure. No, there's no workers at the corner. They moved the sidewalk closed inside so people can walk down the sidewalk, because when there are construction workers there, they also don't want people walking down the sidewalk. That was removed. There was no work going. Hit. I already had made my turn for the most part, and that's where he hit me. So I guess, you know, it would be as to say, okay, well, if someone's parked on the wrong side of the road,
Your case is dismissed, Mr. Gutierrez, so you shouldn't have made a right turn. We're done here. Thank you.
Your Honor. Thank you.
You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Initially, I did hit him, and I was full adrenaline. I mean, I was biking.
I didn't feel it was illegal because there were no construction workers there.
15 miles an hour and slowed down and barely avoided, you know, a more severe impact.
For you to be following, like, cautiously because there's workers present.
My phone fell out of my pocket, but I was not doing that. I was not talking on it during the accident.
Just make sure you're following the rules.
I mean, he didn't get a citation or his insurance jacked up, so things went fairly well for him, all things considered.
And don't make a right when there's even a construction sign saying not to.
But I'm glad that things, you know, ended up as well as they did.
You're not together anymore. She can have a date.
A chance for quality time with his 8-year-old.
She was supposed to drop him off with me for 2 hours.
He was text messaging me from 6:30 on.
I already had my day planned, and I had things to do.
But enough.
And then you decided to take it. You last spent time with your son?
It was about 2 years prior that he...
2 years?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Tina Burke is suing her ex-boyfriend, Ryan Kelsey, for vandalizing her car when he scratched it during an argument.
Order. All rise. It's case number 430 on the calendar in the matter of Burke versus Kelsey.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Kelsey, I'm going to start with you, sir, because I'm going to get some information that's going to be able to help me. The plaintiff is your former girlfriend. You have a child together. Child is how old?
He's 8.
Is that your only child?
No, I have 2 other children.
How old are the 2 others that you have?
I'm 12 and 19.
Did you say about 12?
No, he's 12 years old, and I have a 19-year-old daughter.
Do they live with you?
My son does, yeah, the 12-year-old.
Your 19-year-old daughter is on her own?
Yeah.
Yes, that would be yes. Okay, so you have an 8-year-old, and that's your youngest child.
Yeah.
And did you and Miss Burke live together at any point?
No.
But you enjoy visitation with him?
Yeah.
Is that court-ordered visitation?
No.
It's visitation that you arranged with each other?
Yeah, every once in a while. We're going through court right now, so it'll probably be a regular visitation.
A regular visit, okay.
Yeah.
Well, October 2nd of last year, an incident occurred. Tell me about what was the schedule for visitation on that date?
She was supposed to drop him off with me for 2 hours, and so...
What time?
I can't remember the exact
Well,
time.
this is important. You know you're coming here today because if you don't remember, I'm going to get the information from her.
Oh, okay.
She was supposed to drop him off.
Right.
Is there any reason why you weren't picking him up?
No, she was dropping him off, and I was taking him back.
Do you live far away from each other?
About 30 minutes apart.
Okay, so that was the arrangement. She was going to drop him off.
Right.
And you don't remember the time?
I don't remember exact time.
Do you remember the time?
Our arranged time didn't work out for either one of us. So he told me to give him a call before we left, and that's what I did. I just called him and told him that we were going to be on our way. That was about 4:30.
Do you remember that conversation?
Yes.
Now you do. Okay, so now I'm coming back to you. So she said we're on our way, and it takes about 30 minutes to get there, which means that she should have gotten to your house at about 5 o'clock.
Right.
Did she get there at 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
And what were you going to do with your son for those 2 hours?
We just went and hung out, and I was going to take him to the park, but he wanted to shoot. I took him to shoot a BB gun.
Did you discuss that with his mother?
No, I sent her pictures of it, so she knew what was going on.
So you sent her a picture of him shooting a BB gun?
I'm shooting a BB gun.
And then you decided to take him home?
Yes.
But you decided to take him home a little early?
No. No.
No.
No.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, you say in your answer, I know I got that from someplace, she said when I arrived, she was upset that I dropped him off early. No. That's what you said in your answer.
She said it was early, but it was way later.
What time did you drop him off?
I don't know. It was nighttime. I don't know exact time. I guess you can get that off the police.
So then I'm going to go back to her. What time did you get a call that he was bringing him back?
Oh, he was contacting me, and he, after 6, already telling me it was time to... that I needed to get home, that we were... It wasn't until about 7:30.
That's very confusing to me, what you just said. That was a mumble. What time did he call you to say he was leaving? Or
he was
text
messaging me from 6:30 on.
So from 6:30, and he had visitation for 2 hours.
I told him I would come pick him up at about 8:45.
Oh, so when you dropped him off, you said to him, I'll pick him up.
And I text messaged him also.
No, don't text. What was your initial arrangement? You see, what he says is you dropped him off so that he could have visit, but you really wanted to drop him off so that you would have some free time.
Yeah.
To have a date or whatever, which, Mr. Kelsey, is okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Right? That's okay.
Right.
Babysitter.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, so I'm going to come back to you. Did you get the message from her, either verbally or by text, that she would pick him up at about 8:45?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. But I already had my day planned, and I had things to do, and I was supposed to be...
Just a second. What did you have to do?
Well, the agreement...
Not the agreement. What did you have to do?
I was helping somebody move that night. That ain't
Who?
Huh?
Huh is not an answer. What was the name of the person that you were going to help to move that night? Bob what? Bob what? Get on your phone and give me the number. Get on your phone and give me this Bob's number. Because I'm going to call Bob. And you know what I don't like?
What's that?
I don't like to get up from this bench and go back to the phone. If Bob isn't going to tell me, I don't know what he's talking about moving. I haven't moved.
You want me to call him, your son?
No, I'm going to call him.
Oh, okay.
Look at me, Mr. Kelsey.
And it was Bob.
Look at me.
Yes.
Say, I'm sorry, that was the wrong night. I wasn't helping anybody move.
I'm sorry, that was the wrong night.
Say to me, I'm sorry, that was the wrong night. I wasn't helping anybody move.
Why am I saying that?
Why? Because...
Okay, I'm sorry, that was the wrong night. I wasn't helping anybody move.
Okay.
So I don't understand why I'm saying that.
She was... Hey, I'm way ahead of you. I know exactly what it's all about. Put your phone away. Put it down now.
Okay.
I've been doing family court, exactly who you are, and I know exactly what she is. She wanted an evening out. She has... How many children do you have?
One.
One, an 8-year-old. So, be nice if the child was with his father for one night. She didn't have to worry about him. Maybe could have a date. And she said, and even though you were only supposed to have him, according to you, for 2 hours, I assume it's not a burden to have your 8-year-old son, sir?
No, it's not at all.
And you were out shooting BBs with him from 5 to 6. Did you give him dinner?
Yeah, he ate.
Yeah, just a second. What I asked you, did you give him dinner?
Yes.
Okay. From when to when?
I don't know. I wasn't sitting and watching the clock the whole time I had him.
Now I know exactly who you are.
Who?
I know exactly who you are.
You do.
So, when she texted you and said, I'll pick him up at 8:45, which is what you agreed to, because she's got that on her phone, what did you say to her?
I said, that wasn't the agreement. You said 2 hours. I said, I'll be bringing him back. She didn't text me like that. She said, I'll be bringing him back when I'm done going out and partying. That's what she said.
She said she'll pick him up.
Huh?
Not you'll drop him off. She said she'll pick him up.
Yeah, she'll pick him up, but that wasn't the agreement.
I know it wasn't your agreement. I'm just trying to figure out, sir, why you think that spending an extra 2 hours with your son is a burden.
It wasn't a burden.
Then what was the trouble? If you were supposed to have him from 5 to 7, and she said, I'll pick him up so you don't have to drive a half hour there and a half hour back, I'll pick a problem with that.
I didn't have a problem with it.
Then why did you take him home?
Well, because the 2-hour agreement
just
was
a
passed,
second.
and I took him home like 3 hours later.
Just a second. We're not talking about agreement.
Okay.
Then if she said, I'll pick him up, why did you bring him home?
Because it was time for him to go home.
Okay, I got you. So I said, I got you. So what time did you get him home?
I thought it was almost around 9 o'clock.
No.
Okay.
Just a second. You thought it was 9. What time was it?
7:30.
Okay. So at 7:30, you drove him home.
Yes.
Now, since you seem to have a memory loss about the times in the evening, because that's exactly what it was, because you said, I'm supposed to have him for 2 hours. Not more than 2 hours, 2 hours, and I'm not babysitting with him while you go out, while you have a good time, while you have somebody in your house. I'm not doing that, so I'm bringing him home at when we said in our agreement. Just for my own information, Mr. Kelsey, prior to October 2nd, when had you last spent time with your son?
Well, every time I go...
Shh. I need a date.
I don't know.
Prior to October 2nd.
Okay.
When had you spent time with him? That would be sometime in September. When in September?
September 31st. How about that?
Is that right?
It was about 2 years prior that he
2 years?
That you had taken him.
She's not.
That he's talking about just swinging by.
I'm not talking about swinging by. I'm talking about...
I wanted him to have one-on-one time.
Just a second. Don't tell me what you wanted. You want a little time out. That's okay. You know, that's okay. That's fine.
These texts she's saying I'm sending, do you know, she gets on a text messaging app and makes these texts up.
I want to know when was the last time...
I've got my phone records.
When was
get the phone records.
I want to know when was the last time prior to October 2nd that you prepared dinner for your son at your house?
Prepare dinner for him at my house?
That's my question.
I've never prepared dinner at my house for him. She hasn't ever at her house either. She don't know how to cook.
Oh.
Okay.
I don't.
Very good. You want to... Now, I actually had enough with him. This is what your case is about. You allege that when he drove your son home at 7:30, there was a kerfuffle. You were annoyed that he brought him home at 7:30. He was annoyed because of him, whatever, and you allege that he scratched your car.
Yes.
I want you to tell me how that transpired.
So he was text messaging me, be home. I pulled up and I stayed out.
You pulled up where?
In front of my home.
So you come home and you pull up in front of your house.
Right. And I didn't even get out. I stayed in my vehicle because I figured Jackson had not eaten. So I was going to just take off after he dropped him off. So he comes speeding around the corner and slams on his brakes. I get out of my vehicle to go to the passenger side to get Jackson out of the car. And he, at that time, exited his vehicle. So now we're crossing paths. Jackson had fallen asleep. So I was waking him up. I look over and he's all leaned into my car. Ryan is. And I didn't know what he was getting. And most likely my phone, he takes things. I didn't know. We tossed them into the middle of the road to get him out of my car. And he then grabs my keys and he gets out of my vehicle and tosses them as hard as he could into an empty lot.
Okay, so you threw his keys into the road. He threw your keys into an empty lot.
Correct.
So far, that's pretty consistent with what I read in both the complaint and the answer. Go ahead.
So I tell my son, baby, he's awake now. Baby, go sit up on the porch. I had to get my keys to get the house key. I went towards the empty lot to find my keys, and Ryan was, yelling pretty derogatory terms to me, and I turn around, and that's when I saw him. He was coming around the passenger side front fender, and he gets something out of his pocket and did this motion like a knife, I thought, and he goes across my front driver's side.
Do you have to see the police report as well?
Okay, there's pictures, and there's the police report.
Did you ever file criminal charges?
He asked if I wanted to press charges,
said yes.
and I said yes.
And you said yes. Other than the contact that was made by the police on the 2nd. Were you ever contacted by the police again?
No.
With regard to this?
No, she dropped the charges the next day.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
Show me.
Did she drop the charges?
Yeah.
How would I have that? The police?
Well, then you.
I never
then,
got a
then
warrant.
you don't know what happened.
Well, a warrant never came out for me.
That doesn't mean she dropped the charges, sir.
Well, she told me the next day she dropped the charges.
I did not.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
You are such a liar.
No.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
So as he come into the car, I heard him say, I got something for you, I got something. So I already knew what he was talking about. So he get in the car so we can get away. So I just heard like maybe 2 or 3 gunshots. So I'm ducking, and he ducking, and we just got up out of it.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tina purposely scratched her car during an argument.
You are such a liar.
Then how come I never got charged for it?
Because they may have had other things to do than get in between you 2 idiots who had a fight in front of your 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to pay for the scratches on the car, you fool.
Every time I go around her, there's
You
a fight.
fool.
Hey, would you like to see some of her text messages to me?
No, I don't
'Cause
want to
got-
see any text
I got
messages from her.
some
I
things
think
here
you're a
that'll
big
change your mind
baby.
about her.
I think you're a big baby. Judging for the
I wish
plaintiff
I
for
could
the
play a
amount
couple
of
of
$549. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. I wish
Every time there's drama like this.
my son didn't have to witness
And that's why I don't go around that much, because it always happens in front of him.
this kind of behavior from either one of us.
A bad one. Bad example.
He's out of his mind.
We just don't get along. We'll never get along.
An order of protection.
I guess maybe she needs mental help. I don't know.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter, Riddle versus Gast. Step forward.
23-year-old Tariq Riddle is suing his former roommate, Daryl Guest, for stealing his flat-screen TV and for borrowing his car and returning it riddled with bullet holes.
Mr. Gast, I'm going to start with you, sir. You and Mr. Riddle were roommates.
Yes, ma'am.
And November of this year, you knowing that you needed to borrow his car.
I was supposed to go to the store, which I did go to the store.
By yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
What time of the day?
It was around 7 o'clock.
What store did you tell him you were going to?
I supposed to go to Publix.
Is that what he told you?
He just said a store. He didn't say a specific store.
What kind of car did you have?
A 2004 Toyota Camry.
And you had no car?
No, ma'am, not right then.
So you borrowed his car about 7 o'clock, but you didn't go to the store. Where did you go?
I picked up my little brother.
How far did he live from where you live?
Maybe like 10 minutes out the way.
And where were you going with him?
Took him to go see his girlfriend. He told me that he'll give me some.
Well, you didn't have
gas money.
permission to do that. You only had permission to go to the store.
I mean, he said he had gas money. I ain't see nothing wrong with it.
Okay. And tell me what happened when you got to his girlfriend's house.
Went to his girlfriend's house. He got out. He knocked on the door. I'm guessing somebody else answered the door. They was getting into it because I was in the car the whole time. So I'm looking out my mirror. I'm like, what's going on? So I see them arguing. So
Who's arguing?
him and another guy.
Did you know the other guy?
No, I think he knew him.
You knew who he was.
Yes, ma'am.
Who was he?
I guess it was a girl that I was talking to, ex.
So it was the ex of the girl that you were going to visit.
Yes, ma'am.
Maybe not so much of an ex.
Yeah, probably.
I did bump into some, but like I said, I don't remember what I had. I mean, you know, I was in fear for my
Yeah.
life. You probably would be in fear for your life, too. You ain't gonna remember everything.
Well, you wouldn't have been in this trouble, sir, if you went and got salami at Publix like you were supposed to.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Tariq Riddle says former roommate Daryl Guest stole his TV and borrowed his car, only to return it with bullet holes.
So what happened next, Mr. Gast?
Like I said, I'm inside the car the whole time. They arguing. So I see him getting like real mad. So they
Your brother?
Right, brother getting real. I can see both of them by their body language. So I get out the car. So I'm telling him, man, you need to come on. Let's go. Let's go. So as he
Smart.
Right. So as he coming to the car, I heard him say, I got something for y'all. I got something for y'all. So I already knew what he was talking about. So he get in the car so we can get away. So I just heard like maybe 2 or 3 gunshots. So I'm ducking, he ducking, and we just got up out of there.
This is what your lawsuit is about. He borrowed your car to go to Publix.
Yes, ma'am.
And you got back a car with holes in it.
Holes in it, a dent in the side, scuffs on both sides of both of the bumpers, and cracks in the...
Pictures of the car?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I do. These are printed pictures, and these are the actual pictures.
How did all the other damage happen to the car?
I really don't remember all that other stuff. I just remember us getting, like, I was in fear for my life. I don't know nothing about it.
Well, I see holes.
No, I don't know nothing about the rest of that stuff. Yeah.
Why didn't you go to the police?
I mean, I feel for retaliation of my brother, and, you know, he said, you know, when I came home and told him about it, he said he got insurance, so...
No, this is...
No?
He doesn't have insurance on a 2004 car. He doesn't have collision insurance.
Well, that's what he was saying.
Okay.
So I was like...
Well... This is...
I don't remember what I had. I mean, you know, I was in fear for my
Do you
life.
have bills to fix the car?
You know, you would probably be in fear for your life, too, you know, if stuff like that. I said, you probably would be in fear for your life, too. You ain't gonna remember that.
Well, you wouldn't have been in this trouble, sir, if you went and got salami at Publix like you were supposed to.
Yeah.
Instead of getting involved in somebody else's business.
Oh, no, that wasn't none of my business. I stayed in the car the whole time, like I told you.
It was your business.
Man,
you
I
were
stayed in-
supposed to go to Publix. You had permission
Man, but
to...
everybody do... No, I'm listening.
He continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You had permission to borrow the car.
Yes, ma'am.
To go to Publix.
Right.
That's it. You took the car and you went someplace else where the car was placed in danger. If you stayed with what you were supposed to do and went to Publix, his car would be okay. Is that a fair statement? You weren't going to fight with anybody in Publix, were you?
Not that I think of.
What?
Not that I can think of.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,700. We're finished. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I was sitting in the car the whole time, you know. That could have happened to anybody.
I got shot at and didn't say anything else about it.
Picked up my brother, took him to go see his girlfriend. He had to get something.
The dent on the side, I got 2 cracks in my windshield on the opposite side of the windshield. Like, how did that even happen?
It turned into a whole nother situation, you know.
I mean, it's not like I want to fight you when I see you, but, you know.
It was real frightening, man, but I'm still here to talk about it.
She was telling me things like, I want to talk to you before I go to sleep.
He heard plenty of sweet talk while behind bars.
Did she come to visit you?
Yes, ma'am. She was like, well, could I put the cable bill in your name? We're going to move in together anyway when you get out.
But now this ex-con
You're stuck with this cable bill.
has a now ex-girlfriend.
Something happened along the lines with her and another guy.
Wrong. Don't say wrong. Just tell me the story.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Travis Conwell is suing his ex-girlfriend, Shabarbara Jackson, for an unpaid cable bill that's in his name and for the return of his clothes and tools.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, it's case number 453 on the calendar in the matter of Conwell versus Jackson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated.
Mr. Conwell, the defendant was your girlfriend prior to your being incarcerated for a period of time. According to your complaint, you agreed to allow her, while you were incarcerated, to put a cable set. Understanding was that she would take care of the bill, pay the bill out of her own funds.
Correct.
Well, that didn't happen.
It didn't.
And you're stuck with this cable bill.
Yes, ma'am.
In addition, you say that the hope that the two of you would live together when you came out of prison was part of the reason for putting this cable bill
This is correct.
in your name. But when you got out of jail, it didn't work out, and you have property at her house.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Jackson says, well, you insisted that she put a cable in her house because you wanted her to be able to send you things while you were in prison, and she did that over the internet.
Yep.
That's what she said. And you never had anything at her house. She's not a storage unit. She has nothing that belongs to you. She's counterclaiming for the items that she sent to you over the internet while you were in prison. She said she spent about $500, which I'm sure you can establish. Okay, before you went to jail, Mr. Conwell, how long were you and Miss Jackson involved, and were you living together?
Approximately 5 months.
And when were you incarcerated?
February 3rd, 2016.
To when?
Until August 2nd, 2016.
Did she come to visit you?
Yes, ma'am.
How often?
Every week until she got into an accident.
Now, when someone comes to visit you, are they allowed to go to the commissary and buy things?
Yes.
For you?
Yes.
Did she ever do that?
A couple of times she went to the kiosk that's located in the detention facility to put money on books at times. Other times she was ordering it over her phone.
And when she ordered it over the phone, did they deliver it to you in prison?
Yes, ma'am.
That's what happened? Okay, when she put money on the books, did you give her money, or did she just do it herself?
She did it herself.
How much money did she put on her book?
It was sporadic. It wasn't consistent. It was, probably $30 here, $20, $30 there.
Did you ever ask her to do that for you?
No, ma'am.
But she just did it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Tell me about this cable.
What happened with the cable bill, Your Honor, was around February, like when my initial incarceration month, me and Ms. Jackson was talking regularly on the phone, and she was expressing to me that she was stressed out because she was willing and she was yearning to return to school. So I began to ask her, what's keeping you from returning to school? She's saying it's classes that she have to take online. So I was like, well, why you can't take the online classes? And she was like, I can't get the internet through Comcast because my credit is bad. So I was like, well, how much longer she had in school, and this, that, and the third. And she was like, not too long. If she can get these online classes out of the way, it would pretty much speed her up with graduating. So I was like, well, I said, no, I don't owe them any money. She was like, well, could I put the Comcast bill in your name? It's like, I mean, we're going to move in together anyway. When you get out, you could just resume responsibility of the bill. You could pick it up when you get out, and I'll maintain it while you're in here. I said, no problem, as long as you pay it and our relation with each other is in good standing. She agreed to that. I agreed, and that's when she proceeded to establish the cable bill in her name.
Let me hear.
Wrong.
Don't say wrong. Just tell me the story. It sounds to me pretty convincing. So let's see if you can convince me that that's not how it happened.
When he was incarcerated, he asked me to send care packages. I tried to hook this inside-outside connection up on my phone, and I could not press send. I told him this when I went to visit him. I tried to hook it up, but I couldn't press send. I need to do it from a computer. I don't have internet. I've been living in my house for over a year and some change. Never had internet, never had cable. It wasn't important to me. He told me, well, look, go get internet in my name so you can send me these packages. And I said, okay, cool, and I can also go to school. This is how this came about. I set the internet up, and he began getting these packages that he told me if I send them to him when he got his income tax money, I could just keep the income tax, what he wanted, and having me to accept all these phone calls, that all this poster came back with his income tax money, and it never happened.
Okay. Do you have a list of items that you sent him on just look at me. Do you have a list of items that you sent him while he was incarcerated from February to August?
You want me to give it to you?
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't all of them, but those were.
Pepperoni pizza, is that what she sent you?
Yes, ma'am.
So it looks as if she sent you 3 pizzas.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I have here, 3 pizzas. What else?
And the phone calls I took for him to talk to his family members. I have proof.
I'm going to take a look at it. And that was from the internet?
Phone calls that I had to pay for him to speak to other people.
How did you pay for it?
With my debit card.
Where?
Over the phone. An automatic service calls you and asks you for your card number, and I put my card number in to accept.
Did she put money in some sort of a system so that you could make phone calls?
It's a system in the detention center called Securus, and what the outside people do, you don't call this system. You set an inmate to be able to call you in a lot of amount of times.
Okay. So my question is, you look as if you made a lot of phone calls in February.
Right.
Did you ever pay her back any money for this?
No, ma'am. Because she wanted to talk to me. She said, she was telling me things like, I want to talk to you before I go to sleep, and when I get off work. This is not my first rodeo, and I get into these situations illegally. I'd rather just become a hermit and deal with my time on my own. But because this time I was dealing with a female, she wanted to stay in contact, hence all the gift packages and the visits and the money on the phone so I can call her.
Everything is asked. I didn't do nothing on my own.
I didn't ask you.
Okay. All together, all the bills that you have, and now your desk is clear,
yes,
is $314. Okay. How much is the internet bill?
I don't know.
The internet bill, Your Honor, is $205.51. $205.51.
Close enough, because I'm sure some of these phone calls were to you, right?
No.
None of these phone calls, but he never called you?
I didn't print off none of them ones.
No.
That was personal.
He never called you, is what I'm saying.
Yes, he called me.
And when he called you, what account did he use?
He used that one.
That's what I'm talking about. Good. So 205, 314, close enough. Now, what clothes do you say you have at her house?
When I was staying at her house, I'm an electrician apprentice. Just purchased 2 custom pairs of shoes from Virginia that I had left at her house. And the situation was when I was to get out on the 2nd of August, if everything was going the way it's supposed to, I was supposed to resume residence with Ms. Jackson. But something happened along the lines with her and another guy, and I was like, well, there's no need for me to even come back and deal with you. Just let me get my things.
Okay. Tools.
I didn't agree to store nothing.
What? That's not what I asked you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When he purchased the drill, he also purchased some other tools.
He had a whole bag of tools. I don't know what they are.
What did you do with them? Don't make.
I moved.
Try not to make things up as you go.
I'm not.
And later today.
What's next?
Graphics for my CD cover.
How do you have graphics for a CD cover when you didn't make an album?
I made a single.
Well, that's not what they're talking about in here. What's next?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Travis Conwell says ex-girlfriend Shabarbara Jackson owes for a cable bill and the return of his belongings. Shabarbara is countersuing for money owed and harassment.
Okay, tools.
I didn't agree to store nothing.
What? That's not what I asked you. Let's be very, very clear before we resolve your counterclaim. Do you understand?
Yes.
You have a drill.
Yes.
What else?
That's it.
What else did you buy other than a drill? Don't go like this.
Your Honor, I had a pair of custom Timberland boots.
I'm not talking about shoes.
Oh,
We're talking tools.
Crescent wrenches. I've had crescent wrenches, levels.
Crescent wrenches.
Right.
I don't know. I don't have them.
What do you mean you don't have them?
I don't have them.
Where did you get the drill from?
The drill was in my bedroom.
That he purchased?
Yes.
Where is it now?
It's in my bedroom.
Okay, when he purchased the drill, he also purchased some other tools.
He had a whole bag of tools. I don't know what they are. I don't have
Well,
them.
he has a whole bag of tools. What did you do with them? Don't make.
I moved.
Try not to make things up as you go.
I'm not. I moved. I don't
so
have
you
them.
moved. Just a second. So you moved. When did you move?
I moved in October.
And so this drill you decided to take with you, because you said to me it's in my bedroom.
In my room. Yeah.
But not the bag of tools.
No.
What did you do with them?
I guess they were left.
What?
I said, I guess they were left.
When he came out of prison in August and you weren't going to be involved any longer, did he ask you for the tools?
No.
Right?
That's incorrect.
When did you ask
I made
him?
several attempts when I got out of jail to communicate with Ms. Jackson to get my tools, because this is how I earn a living.
Just a second. And what happened?
She was unresponsive, shooting me to the voicemail, not answering the phone. Then she eventually changed her phone number.
Because he wouldn't stop calling my phone.
I needed my tools.
That's not why he was calling my phone.
Lies.
Do you have any bills for these tools?
No, Your Honor, I do not, but I have an estimate of the drill I repurchased.
The drill?
Yes.
The drill she's going to give you back. Okay. The drill is in your house? Yes. The drill is in your house?
Yes.
Good. The drill goes back to the plaintiff. How much was it, by the way?
The drill was $239.
Very good. And the pizzas and the cable bill sort of play each other off. You get your drill back, I'll prepare the order. We're done. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I think she did she ruled fairly.
It was way more than just 3 pizzas I sent him.
Trust myself and move on forward.
Don't help people out. Don't believe them when they say they'll pay you back, because they probably won't.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Regions versus Starks Higgins. Step forward.
Aquisha Regans is suing her former business partners, Andre Higgins and Herman Starks, for breach of contract, defamation of character, and death threats.
Miss Regions, you are a singer, and the claim that they breached your contract
Yes.
that they had with you. Mr. Starks and Mr. Higgins are counterclaiming because they say that they not only didn't they breach your contract, but that you have defamed them someplace, and I'm certain that they're going to be able to demonstrate that to me, even though they have no witnesses. So, would you first show me the contract that you're complaining about? All right, so this contract is about a year old?
Yes.
And specifically, what clause are you complaining about of this contract?
A breach of contract.
What clause of the contract?
They wasn't able to pay their share, their revenue, their half.
What revenue? What specific?
They were supposed to pay half on everything. They didn't pay half on anything. I was paying for everything.
Okay. This is under the term of the agreement. It says under this term, the artist known as Lyrical Lips shall be an equal partner under this agreement, and it shall be understood that there is a 50-50 split on all costs, and there is a 50-50 split on all proceeds earned. Okay, so we are agreed that there were never any proceeds. Is that never a recording made?
No.
Was there a recording
Yes.
made? When?
It was made in April.
Was that an album that was produced?
It was a song.
Under this term, which is under the same thing, it says there will be 3 album minimum to satisfy the agreement made with the company and to you. So there was no album completed. There was a song
Yes.
that you paid to have produced.
Yes.
How much did you pay to have it produced?
$40.
And what other expense did you have in producing this song?
For this song?
Well, I want to know what you're suing them for.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
They were supposed to pay me for my performance at the college.
Tell me what you paid.
I paid $50, and they're supposed to pay $25.
You were given 5 tickets to sell at $10 each.
I gave them some.
What else? So far, I'm getting annoyed with you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Aquisha Regans says former business partners Andre Higgins and Herman Starks breached their contract, defamed her, and threatened her life. The defendants have a countersuit, also for defamation.
Song.
For this song?
Well, I want to know what you're suing them for.
I'm suing him for a photo shoot that I had done.
Just a second. You did a photo shoot at whose request?
At Andre Higgins' request.
Tell me about the photo shoot that you did at his request.
He set up a photo shoot, and I was supposed to pay for my makeup, hair. He never paid for my pictures. I never received them.
Did you pay for the pictures?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have proof that you paid for them?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it. What else? They paid for the photo shoot.
I never knew about that.
Well, they did. What other expenses did you have?
A show with the radio show.
What does that mean, a show with
A radio show where you come on and you talk, and you have to pay for radio spins, and I had to pay for a show to perform. They didn't pay their half.
Show me what you paid. This is nothing. That's nonsense. What's next?
Graphics for my CD cover.
How do you have graphics for a CD cover when you didn't make an album?
I made a single.
What's next?
Basically, studio time.
Well, that's $40.
My shows.
Just a second. That's $40. So their half is $20.
Yes.
Did you pay your half of the studio time?
Actually, man, we paid the balance. The balance of the studio time was $200.
Do you just have proof that you paid
Yes,
any
ma'am.
studio time?
Yes, ma'am.
She
Not
paid
true, Your Honor.
$40.
That's
May
not
I
true.
see?
Wow. It's not true. He didn't even show up for that
I mean,
session.
if you're wasting my time for $20,
No, ma'am,
it's
it's a lot to
absolutely
the
outrageous.
story. They're lying. That's not true, what he's saying.
Listen to me. So far, I believe that you paid $40 in studio time. I have $20 that they owe you. What else?
I paid for studio time, video,
No,
my
no,
show.
I
I
don't-
performed. They were supposed to pay me for my performance at the college. It's right here on the contract.
That they're supposed to pay for your performance?
They were supposed to pay me half on everything.
Just a second. Did you pay for anything at the college? Is it an
Yes,
expense?
I paid for the show.
Tell me what you paid.
I paid $50, and they're supposed to pay $25.
Show me. You were given 5 tickets to sell. So far, I'm getting annoyed with you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What else? So far, I'm getting annoyed with you.
Defamation of character, Your Honor.
You don't have defamation of character.
I mean, it's a lot to the story.
I don't want to hear a lot to the story. It didn't work out between the two of you. So do you want to vitiate this contract and declare it null and void? Is that what you want to do?
I want him not to be able to use any of my likeness, and I would like to be reimbursed for this whole year that he didn't do anything he told me he would do.
No. You're going to get $20, which is so far what he owes you.
It's not $20, Your Honor.
That's all it is.
I have more receipts.
Now, I'm back at you for the counterclaim. You want to show me something that she published about your company.
Actually, she posted on Facebook.
Show me.
Here.
Can I show my Facebook post also that he posted to make me post that?
I'm going to see what it is.
Okay.
Where she bragged on
I'm going to read it.
Okay.
I'm done with this case. We're finished. Your case, we're done.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
They didn't pay for anything.
This is a bad case of an artist with no talent.
They did so much damage and was trying to defame my character.
Who can fake it till you make it.
He said all my music sucks, but he found me because of my music.
You need talent in this business, most definitely.
Unhappiness in a foster home.
What caused her to leave?
She was mad at me.
Because?
Actually, not real sure.
And their fight got political.
She committed voter fraud, and I was very upset with that.
That is not true.
You said, I have your ballot filled out. I'm going to put it in at the polls. How could you vote for her?
I had filled it out for her if she wanted to change something.
No.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Wendy Whitaker is suing her former foster child, 20-year-old Ashlyn Parenteau, for the return of belongings she stole from her home.
Order. All rise.
Whitaker versus Parenteau.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Miss Whitaker, the defendant was a foster child in your home for many years, on and off. According to your complaint, at some point you invited her or asked her if she would house sit for you. You were going away for a couple of days.
Correct.
Immediately prior to that, she had not been in your home.
Correct.
She came back to your home to house sit, and according to you, she took some property that didn't belong to her. That's what you're suing her for. Ms. Parenteau indicates that the property she took belonged to her, and she has a counterclaim. She said that you changed the locks on the doors and she was unable to get some other property that she has in your house, which she'll tell me about. Just for informational purposes, how old was Ms. Parenteau when she came to live with you for the first time?
16.
And how long did she stay?
She was there for a short period of time, and then she was placed somewhere else, and then it's come back several times.
Why is that?
She was placed somewhere else because she was in my home and wanted to return to her previous home to take care of the dog. And I did that, and they were in disagreement of that choice.
Now, explain that. So she was in your home when she was 16, but she had a dog in her previous foster home that she liked?
No, in her biological home.
With whom?
My biological mother.
And you went back?
A few hours to feed the dog because she was in jail and no one else was there to take care of the animal.
So you didn't go back there to live?
No.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to understand. So you went back there just to take care of the dog?
Yes.
For a couple of hours. And you didn't like that?
No, it was not me that did not like
Who
that.
didn't
The county
like that?
did not like that.
So what happened?
After I discussed what happened, they questioned me. They took her from my home, and she was placed in several other homes. after that. I fought
Why
to
is
get her
that?
back.
The second time I was taking out of her home, she committed some Social Security fraud, which she's still under investigation for.
That's not true.
That was the second time. The first time was because?
The first time was because I went to my house to feed the dog.
With her permission?
Yes, she took me over there.
Okay, so that's the first time. Second time, you say because of some sort of investigation that was being done. Were you the only foster child in the house?
No.
How many foster children were there?
There were about 4 at the time that I moved in.
How many foster children did you have at one time in the last 5 years?
The last 5 years, I've had 3.
For long periods of time?
Yes.
Do you work outside the home?
Yes.
At what?
I do a lot of volunteer work, as well as I've been in internships with my union.
I asked you if you worked for money outside the home other than for home.
Yes, for a union.
What union?
SEI internships. They are programs that last X amount of time, and I learn new things.
How do you get that job? I'm serious. How do you get that job? So far, you do a lot of volunteer work. You have 3 foster children. You do a lot of internships. Internships really usually mean you're working to go towards something.
Correct.
So how did you get into this union? You have a brother, a sister, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle?
No, the county has a program, and I learned that. I actually learned that through one of my foster children.
And for my own informational purposes, how much money did you receive each month for Miss Parentu?
At the end of her stay,
Let's start at the beginning of her stay.
The beginning of her stay, I was in an agency, and it was $1,009.
And at the end?
I was a non-relative placement for $859.
Prior to house sitting for you, when was the last time the defendant lived in your home?
The beginning of October, I believe.
For how long?
She had been there for a little over a year and a half.
And what caused her to leave?
She was mad at me.
She got angry with you?
Yes. And
just a second, because?
Actually, not real sure. She left a note for me.
You want to tell me why you were angry? She's not real sure?
I never left it. I was very upset with that, so I
So you left in November?
Yes.
That is not true.
Did you get an absentee ballot?
No, I did not. I got a provisional ballot. She actually switched my voting thing to a mail-in ballot and never told me about it. She never told me about it, and I went to the voter place, and they said that I was a mail-in voter and that I had already turned in my voting thing. So right here, I asked if she had filled out my mail ballot, and right here it states, I have your ballot filled out, and I'm going to put it in at the polls. I voted for the sorry.
Back there.
Sorry.
So this is a text message from her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You asked her, did you fill out and mail my ballot, or should I go in to vote today?
Exactly, because when I went in there, they had told me that I turned it in, so I just wanted to see if she was the one that did it.
I got it, because I see the time. And then she wrote back practically immediately, yes, I have your ballot filled out, and I voted. I voted for the pot thing on mine as well as yours. How could you vote for her?
I didn't. I filled it out in pencil, and it was sitting on the table. I had filled it out for her if she wanted to change something.
No. You said, I have your ballot filled out. I'm going to put it in at the polls. That's what you say.
No, I meant she
I don't care what you meant.
I didn't. I did not put it for 2 weeks after the date. I was working the whole day of
I don't believe you.
Vote. Okay.
I don't believe you.
Okay.
That's where we're starting. But I don't believe you.
I
And
have
that's why
proof.
she moved it. No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Oh, let's see it.
You have proof? Be very careful.
Yes.
Who are you?
I'm her friend, Diane Townsend.
Do you live with her?
No, but we're very close. We see each other daily.
How could she see you daily if she's so busy with her volunteer work and her internships?
I'm also a foster parent, and we have brothers and sisters in tune with each other.
Go.
And I saw the ballot filled out in pencil on her table from the time, a couple weeks ahead of time before the voting until after the voting, and it was still
Sit
sitting
down. I don't
there.
believe a word you're saying.
Okay.
It's true.
So that's why you moved out?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
She left
And you moved
before that date. She left before that date. Sorry.
Well, then I'm reading the rest of these things. The rest of your texts to her, she said to you, no, I don't do the pot thing. When you say I voted for the pot thing on mine as well as yours. That's what you said to her. She said, I don't do the pot thing. It won't count. I turned it in already. That's on November 8th. I turned it in already, so you don't want to legalize pot in SB. I don't know what that means.
San Bernardino.
Yeah.
She's an avid pot smoker.
You see what? I don't believe you, and I don't believe you. Isn't that embarrassing that you swore for her? Isn't it embarrassing to you that you swore for her?
It never got turned in,
I'm
ma'am.
speaking.
Okay.
She said you're not registered to vote there, so it won't count. I turned it in already.
Right. I didn't.
On November 8th.
I did not. I got mad at her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Is that Galaxy phone, does that have your phone number on it or hers?
I'm not
All
sure
I
I
have to do is
understand.
call.
I'm not. Yes, it'll ring. Yes.
It'll ring in whose hand?
Hers. But it belongs to me.
Forget it.
And later today,
I would never stand on a bed to turn on a fan. And if you do, and if you fall, then it's your fault. You can't blame somebody else. And how old is your mom?
She's 83.
I'm younger than your mom, and I wouldn't stand on a bed.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Wendy Whitaker says former foster child Ashlyn Parenteau stole belongings from her home, including her rabbits and damages from voter fraud.
Okay, what stuff does she have? What stuff does she have?
I have a list right here.
Just stay back there.
Okay, sorry, I keep doing that.
You're at a house every day. Do you ever see rabbits?
Yes, they're in the back.
I have pictures too.
Where did you get a sewing machine from?
I got it from her, actually. She got it for me.
As a gift?
Yes.
When?
About 2 years ago.
Do you use the sewing machine?
No, I don't.
Where is it?
Probably in the garage, possibly.
Do you have her rabbits?
Yes, I do. And I've repeatedly asked her to come get them.
Great. Do you want your rabbits?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you want your sewing machine?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you're going to go pick those things up. Do you have any of her clothes?
Anything that she left in her room is bagged up, yes.
Okay. She's going to come and pick up all of her things within 5 days with, with an escort. That will be prepared as an order. That takes care of your counterclaim.
Thank you.
Now, I want you to list for me what items you are alleging that she took from your house when she came to house sit.
An Xbox 360.
Xbox?
Yes, Your Honor.
You took it?
Yeah. It's
Why?
my belongings. She gave it to me for Christmas about 3 years ago.
Did you give her the Xbox 3 years ago?
It was bought 2 years ago, and she wasn't even placed in my home at that time. And I do have, there it is. That's the original, that's the copy.
Actually, she's correct. You purchased it 3 years ago, right before Christmas.
Correct.
The Xbox is hers. What's next?
But she was not in my home.
What's next?
She was not in my home.
What's
I have
next?
proof that she
What's
was not
next?
in my home.
What's next? You didn't buy it 2 years ago. You bought it 3 years ago, November 28th.
She was not placed in my home then.
Let us move on. What's next?
All right. The Kinect that went with it.
Forget it. Next.
The 2 controllers that went with it.
Next.
All the leather working tools and all the leather.
Just a second. Leather working tools. Who does leather working? You do. Did you take the leather working tools?
She bought them for me at Tandy Leather because I'm in cosplay, and she got it so that I can work on something for my cosplay.
I have some questions for you. In your home, do you have any silver products, sterling silver, frames?
Not solid silver, but yes.
Valuable?
No. All of that's been stolen.
And don't keep cash in the house?
No.
You like your cats and dogs?
Dogs, yes.
Dogs? What kind of dogs do you have?
English bulldogs.
How many?
3.
She didn't take those?
No.
She didn't take your living room set, dining room set?
She had
didn't
no
take
means
chairs,
to take
didn't extra jewelry that was lying around?
There was none.
No. So she took leather tools and an Xbox. What else?
She took the Galaxy phone that I'm paying for, that I had paid off.
You mean a cell phone?
That I am still paying for.
Just a second. Is that Galaxy phone, does that have your phone number on it or hers?
It is mine.
Don't show me a receipt. All I have to do is call.
I'm not, yes, it'll ring. Yes, it will. I'm paying for it.
It'll ring in whose hand?
Hers. But it belongs to me.
Forget it. What's next?
No, I'm not going to forget it.
Oh, yes, you are. So far, we're forgetting it. Next.
It's on my plan.
Next.
I'm paying for it.
Next.
I want the house keys back from my house.
Do you have the house keys?
I gave them to her. She changed the locks. They were left.
That is not true.
They were left on the bench in the front porch.
That is not true.
Next.
Okay, the Samsung tablet.
That was a birthday gift for me last year.
That was a birthday gift?
Yes.
On what date is your birthday?
August 6th.
I'd like to see the receipt.
You have it photocopied, but I'll give you the original.
I'd like to see the receipt. Bird, where is it? Where do I find the date here?
6/9/2016.
June 9th. June 9th. That's not even...
I wasn't there
don't
when
care.
she got it.
I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
my mother is laying on the ground. I just wanted to get her up.
So she was lucky because, as a very famous gerontologist once said, if you want to live to be a nice, ripe, old age, I only have 2 words for you. Don't fall.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Wendy Whitaker says former foster child Ashlyn Parenteau stole belongings from her home. Ashlyn has a countersuit for belongings, including her rabbits and damages from voter fraud.
Okay, you give her back the tablet when you come and get the rest of your things. Do you understand?
Yes.
What's next?
My hairdressing shears.
Do you have hairdressing shears in your possession?
No.
No. Did you take them from the house?
No.
Next.
My professional blemish extractor.
Let's go.
That's it.
That's it. Okay, so when you come to get your clothes, you bring her back the tablet. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Very good, very good. We're done here. Thank you.
All right. Can I shut the cell phone off?
We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's desperate.
Well, I think she made a very good decision.
Miss Parenteau is an avid liar, and hopefully this teaches her a lesson that when she takes things, I mean business.
More than likely, I'll probably speak to her.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Clark versus Lewis. Step forward.
Christopher Clark is suing Michael Lewis and his mother, Joyce Lewis, for damage to his vacation rental home. The defendants are countersuing for pain and suffering.
Well, this is actually an interesting case. You could sit down, please. Mr. Clark, you own a condo that you rent out in Florida.
Yes.
And Mr. Lewis rented that condo for how many days and when?
6 days from July 2nd through the 8th, I believe it was.
And who was going?
Myself, my mother Joyce, and my daughter Kylie.
How many bedrooms does the condo have?
2 bedrooms.
Had you seen it online?
I'd seen several of them online. I stay there every year. I had not seen this one online.
This is the story. Mr. Lewis's mother was sharing one of the bedrooms with his daughter, and sometime during the night, she wanted to increase the fan. Either she didn't see or there was not a mechanism on the wall to increase the speed of the fan. Is her last name Lewis?
Yes.
So Mrs. Lewis stood up on the bed in order to reach the fan and pull the cord to see if that would work. And she fell, and she broke up to pay for the wall. Well, not her, but Mr. Lewis, who is the responsible party because he rented the condo, for the damage that his mother did during that fall. It's an easy case. Mr. Lewis says it's your fault. He's counterclaiming for $3,000 for pain and suffering because his mother fell trying to turn on the fan. That's actually ridiculous.
Okay.
Even your mother knows it's ridiculous if she was thinking. I would never stand on a bed to turn on a fan. You're an intelligent woman, right? And if you do, and if you fall, then it's your fault. You can't blame somebody else. You have a different theory?
I do. She had no other option except to get on the bed to turn on the fan, Your Honor.
Yes, she does. She comes into you and say, you know what? What's your first name?
Michael.
Michael, I want to turn the fan on. Was there air conditioning in the bedroom?
Yes.
Even though there's air conditioning, I like the fan going around. I like the air circulated. Michael, but I like the fan. And how old is your mom?
She's 83.
And you're a lot younger. So would you see if you could turn the fan on? I'm younger than your mom, and I wouldn't stand on a bed. Because you say she stood on the bed and the mattress was so old, it was sagging, and that caused her to lose her balance. That's her fault. And if it's her fault, and if the property was broken as a result of that, then it's your responsibility. Common sense.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
have pictures of the wall, please?
Yes,
and then...
ma'am. This is before. This is the mirror. And then this is the after.
Just for my own information, not that it's particularly relevant, but I would just like to know, is there a switch to turn this fan on a wall?
No, ma'am, it's just on the fan.
Okay, I would get rid of that. But it doesn't look smart. I mean, you can put a ladder up there and put it on if you like.
Well, actually, if Michael had went in and adjusted, he could have reached it with his height. I can reach it. It's just, I guess she was so small and all that, it was hard for her to
So you can reach it?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
By the way, Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
I'm sure that at some point you then went in to see if you could, in fact, pull the string.
I never did go in to see if I could actually reach it. No, I did not, Your Honor.
Why?
It was the last thing on my mind. I went in. My mother was laying on the ground. I just wanted to get her up off the ground.
So she was lucky, very lucky.
Yes.
Because as a very famous gerontologist once said, if you want to live it to be a nice, ripe old age, I only have 2 words for you. Don't fall. How much is the mirror to fix?
$540.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $540. We're finished. Thank you.
Judge Steve, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She's the judge. She knows the best.
I just wanted to get the mirror fixed. I was glad she wasn't hurt, though.
I'm just glad she's okay.
He said, what can I do to fix this? And I got him an estimate, and from that point forward, it was like I could never get him to commit to anything.
I'll definitely look around and see what's safe and what isn't safe.
I'm just glad I was on Judge Judy.
There was no power, period.
Correct.
She couldn't move in.
Her new rental was far from ready.
It was going to take approximately 2 weeks for them to get the new line in there.
Somebody had stolen the water heater and stripped the copper piping away from the house.
And she lost more than her money.
Did you ever live in this house?
No, I did not live in the house, Your Honor. Today, as we leave, we go back home to no home.
Judge Judy.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy.
Jada Hunt is suing her former landlord-to-be, James Stacy Jr., for the return of rent and emotional distress.
Order. All rise.
Yes, case number 438 on the calendar, the matter of Hunt versus Stacy.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Hunt, in November of last year, you paid to the defendant $600 in November and another $600 in December.
Yes, ma'am.
And that was for a house that you were renting from him.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't deny that.
No, ma'am.
And you couldn't move into the house because there was no electricity in the house. And there was no electricity in the house, not because it just had to be turned on by a current tenant, but because there was no power, period.
Correct.
And you want your money back.
Yes.
And what's the issue?
The problem, Your Honor, is from the previous tenant, there was a security block on the house because in the city of Detroit, they have a problem with people stealing power from the city. So what they did was they removed the electricity line from the house. I was not made aware of this until after she brought it to my attention. They told me that I had to present some paperwork and send it in to the energy company. I sent in all of the paperwork that they had requested for me to send in proof of the deed, send in proof that we had a tenant there staying previously, send in...
I got the fact that you did whatever you were supposed to do.
Yes, I did all of that. I told Ms. Hunt that it was going to take approximately 2 weeks for them to get the new line in there and for them to do their investigation.
When was she supposed to move in?
December 1st.
And when was the electricity finally put on in the house?
The block was removed on December 21st.
So she couldn't move in.
Correct.
She gets her money back. Now your house is able to be rented. Did you rent it to somebody else?
No, ma'am.
Why not?
Because I didn't know what they were going to do because of the simple fact. I talked to her mother. Her mother said that it was okay. They was going to...
Don't tell me what her mother said. According to you, she put the keys in the mailbox. On what date?
She claimed that she put it in there on December 26th, but when I went and checked the house, there was no keys or anything at that house.
Did you ever live in this house?
No, I did not live in the house, Your Honor.
Which mailbox did you leave the keys in?
At the home he was supposed to rent out to me.
On what date?
On December 26th, around the time he said is correct.
There was electricity on that date?
Yes, ma'am. I had emails.
I'd like to see them. Miss Hunt, did you finally find another place to stay?
No, I do not, Your Honor. Today, as we leave from Los Angeles, we go back home to no home.
Have you been to the house, sir? We're now in February. Were you in the house in January?
Yes.
Did you have the electricity turned on?
As of right now, the block is removed and electricity.
No, I asked you if you had it turned on to see if it's functioning.
Right now, yeah.
In whose name?
I turned it on in the company name that we have.
Do you have any proof that the electricity is turned on?
No, I don't have proof.
Now, when you went to the house on December 25th, according to your countersuit, you have no proof of who took this, but somebody had stolen the water heater and stripped the copper piping away from the house, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, did you put it back?
Yes, we were able to get the copper pipes replaced with PEX piping. The water line, service line was cut. All of the copper pipes were stripped. The hot water tank was removed from out of there. 2 windows was broken. We had feminine products poured down the toilet. So we had to replace all of that.
All I'm asking you is, did you fix the house?
Yes.
Show me proof. I'm going to ask a question. It's just a question. She's...
Proof, Your Honor.
When did you buy this home?
We bought it in 2014 of December.
Did you buy it at an auction?
Yes, ma'am.
How much did you pay for it?
That particular house, it cost $8,000.
And the tenant that you had lived there until when?
I want to say until March, and then after that, it wasn't, no one was renting it out. And then when we rented it out the last time, the last tenant was there for a year.
And that was the tenant that didn't pay the electricity?
Yes.
Got it. They also made a mess of the house. I'm just going to ask you one question. He says he's renovated the house. There are some bills here that indicate that he put in a rebuilt water line, rebuilt hot water tank, and replaced the PVC pipes and snaked all the drains. So there's some evidence here that they've made repairs to the house. Do you want to see if the house is still something that you want?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, good. She gets her money back. The house wasn't ready for her. $1,200 is what you paid. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Judgment for the plaintiff.
Your Honor,
We're done.
I still have a countersuit because...
You have no proof in your counterclaim.
I have phone records proving that I called DTE. She stated that I lied and did not call DTE numerous times when we did. She called me 14 times. I had phone records proving
About
that.
what?
If the security block was from the previous...
It's your fault.
How is it my fault?
It's your fault. It's your house. You can't rent a house that's not inhabitable.
There's no way for us to detect. She brought it to my attention.
Listen to me.
He rented out.
Shh. You can't rent a house that's not habitable, and it can't be inhabited without electricity. And she had no way of putting on the... I know that you're going to argue with me. You can't argue with me because I'm telling you what the law is. You as a landlord cannot rent a house that's uninhabitable, and a house is uninhabitable when it has no electricity. She can't cure the problem. Only you and your company can cure the problem. But you contracted with her for her to go into the house on the 1st of December. You didn't make this house habitable, according to you, until the end of December. You can't say, well, she signed a lease. She can't sign a lease to a non-existent house. And for all of intents and purposes, this house was non-existent for her. She couldn't move in. What?
Well, my only argument, Your Honor, is that she brought it to my attention. And on December 3rd, she knew that the security block was on there. She brought it to my attention.
She changed her mind. And you had to get it fixed anyway, because your last tenant probably stripped the piping in addition to not taking care of the electricity bills. So she gets her $1,200 back and your counterclaim's dismissed. We're finished.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I didn't know at first. When I first went to give him the money, the lights, gas, water, everything was on.
It was no power. In the city of Detroit, you don't leave power on because squatters will go in there. They live for free.
I wanted the home, so I would have never damaged anything.
She knew that the house was ready
ready to move in. It's just that
I'm very happy that he got exposed to it.
the only setback was the electricity.
He done to me and my daughter, so I'm very happy.
But at the end of the day, she's the judge.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hintzman versus Uranga. Step forward.
Tammy Hintzman is suing her former landlord, Elena Uranga, for the return of her security deposit and rent.
Miss Hintzman.
Yes, ma'am.
Describe the house that you were renting.
I was renting an approximate 1,300 square foot beach house in Oceanside, California.
That belonged to you?
Yes.
How long have you owned it?
2 years.
Did you buy it to use it as a business?
Yes.
As a rental business. Did you ever live in it yourself?
No.
The first year that you bought it, did you have a tenant?
No.
Why?
Because there was no tenants whatsoever.
What did you do to remodel?
There was change the floors, new counters, the whole bathroom was changed, landscape, drip irrigation, outside painting.
Got it. And in what month did your lease begin?
December 7th, 2015.
And it was a one-year lease?
Yes, ma'am.
You left a month early?
Correct.
And you want your security deposit back?
Correct.
Ms. Uranga says you're not entitled to your security deposit back. You had a one-year lease. You left a month early, and she used the security deposit for that month's rent. Ms. Hintzman, your defense to that is that the house had rats.
Yes.
And because the house had rats, it was unsafe.
Uninhabitable, yes.
When did you begin to notice that there was a rat infestation problem?
Approximately August 29th of 2016, I woke up and there was a hole about the size of a Dixie cup in my ceiling over my dining room table. I wasn't really sure what it was, so I called my landlady and told them about the hole, and they said they would come over and fix it. And then I started hearing scratching noises up in the attic.
And?
And I called to let them know, and I was told that hiring an exterminator or pests was in my lease for me to take care of out of my own pocket.
Do you have the lease? I'd like to take a look at it. Well, so it's clear. Section 15 of your lease says pest control, and you would consider rats a pest. I mean, they're not pets, right?
Correct.
Shall be the responsibility of the tenant. Okay, so?
So I hired an exterminator, $300. He came to my home on September 7th. He set some traps up in the attic, I believe 5 or 6 traps. In total, he had 8 visits to my home, and he caught and killed 6 rats. Before the exterminator came, however, the landlord set 1 trap, and they did catch a rat, too, so 7 total.
So far, is that correct?
Yeah, I didn't know that they actually caught the rats, but I believe her. Yes.
Of course. Okay, so that's August, September, October.
Yes, and then in the beginning of October, I was still hearing the scratching going around up in the attic. I was going to my laundry room, and I actually saw a rat in my kitchen. He scurried into the cupboard. So the exterminator had recommended plugging up a lot of holes. It's an old, cute beach house, so there's, under pipes, under sinks in the laundry room. He recommended putting wood up on any of the open areas and filling the holes with, like, a foam. So my landlord did come over to the laundry room. There were 3 areas under the front of the house where the grates had come off, and after a week he did patch those up because the exterminator thought perhaps the rats were gaining entrance there.
And
I still had the scratching noises. I still had holes in the ceiling that the landlord had to repair a couple times.
What was the last month?
October of 16.
So that was the last time that you had an exterminator there?
Yes, ma'am.
And your lease wasn't up until?
December 8th.
So why did you move out in November?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What is the address of Avalon Drive?
That was the new home that I...
And when did you negotiate that lease?
That would be near the end of October.
No, that's not correct. That's a lie.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tammy Hintzman says the house owned by her former landlord, Elena Uranga, was infested with rats. She is suing for the return of a security deposit and rent.
So why did you move out in November?
Well, in October, I sent an email to my landlady to let her know that there's still rat noises.
No, you didn't hear anything after October. That's according to you. So I'm asking you why you moved out in November.
It wasn't November yet. It was still October.
and I was still hearing the noises going on, so I let her know we still have a rat problem. I've already spent $300. Something else needs to be done. I'm not going to live in these circumstances. And I didn't hear from her for quite some time, so I decided I pay a lot of money here. I'm not going to live with rats. I'm not going to spend one more penny to try to eradicate these rats. I'm renting. If I wanted this problem, I would have purchased a home and take care of it.
So what did you do?
So I sent her an email back in October of 16 that I would be vacating the property, and I looked for another home to lease.
May I see the email that you sent to her?
Certainly.
Thank you.
I know.
Oh, my God, you couldn't make it any smaller?
I tried to make it larger.
So I'd like you to tell me, what is the address of Avalon Drive, Vista, California? What is that?
That was the new home that
It's a new home. And when did you negotiate that lease?
That would be near the end of October.
No, that's not correct. That's a lie. Because you sent her this email on October 11th. And in this email, you told her that effective November 1st, you are moving to... My question to you is, when did you negotiate the lease for this new home? It wasn't the end of October. It had to be in September.
Well, I'm not lying. I just misspoke the date. So it was sometime between when I told her I still had a rat problem to when I was moving out.
Listen to me. This email is dated October 11th. My question to you is a very simple one. I'm sympathetic. I don't think that anybody has to live in a home with rats. You tried to eradicate the problem yourself. You spent your own money to try to do that. Certainly, the problem with rats of living close to the beach is not a new one. You understand that, right?
Yes, ma'am.
My question to you is, because the defendant says she suspects that you wanted to move out early because you wanted to live closer to your sister. All I'm asking you is, I asked you a simple question. When did you negotiate the lease for the new address?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I didn't want to move. I love that little beach house.
Let me see the emails that you had back and forth in September where you talk about you still want to stay in the home, you like the home.
Well, that was a text message, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Tammy Hensman says the house owned by her infested with rats. She is suing for the return of a security deposit and rent.
When did you negotiate the lease for the new address?
It must have been the end of September.
Okay.
But
so it was just a second. So it wasn't the end of October, it was the end of September. Now, you said to me a moment ago that you were still trying to fix the rat problem in October.
Well, I had Greg here come over to the house to see if there was anything else that he could do to try to plug up the holes. It might have been September. I even sent...
Just a minute. The dates become important.
I had sent Elena a text in September asking her, A, if she still planned on renting the property to me, and B, was she going to be raising the rent? So I didn't want to move. I love that little beach house.
Let me see the emails that you had back and forth in September where you talk about you still want to stay in the home, you like the home.
Well, that was a text message, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
All right. I do have that. Give me one moment here.
May I see it, please?
That was October 2nd when she...
I can read.
Sorry.
I assume it has the date.
Actually, it was October 2nd.
It was October 2nd. You sent her an email and you said, I need to plan for my future rental situation. I would like to payment will remain the same. Could you let me know as soon as possible?
I had no intentions of moving out of the house when I sent her this email at all.
Just a second. That's October 2nd. You just told me it was the end of September. You signed a new lease on the new house. Because on the 11th of October, you told her you were moving and this is your new address. So what you're going to do now, Ms. Hensman, is show me when you signed the lease on the new house.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So what you're going to do now, Ms. Hensman, is show me when you signed the lease on the new house.
Well, unfortunately, Your Honor, I don't have that lease here. It's at home in my saved emails.
Anything else?
Well, Your Honor.
Just a second. Is there anything else? I would say I have nothing else. Look at me.
I have nothing else.
Very good. Your case is dismissed. You moved out a month early. And you moved out a month early, and according to your email to her in October, you had every intention of renegotiating a lease with her if she wasn't going to up your rent. And that's after all the stuff you said about the rats. I love your home, and that was October 2nd. On another place at the end of September. So I'm not quite understanding what your goal is with this. This is October 2nd. After August and September, you've had all these problems. You've taken care of the problems. So I'm not understanding, except you moved out a month early. You used your security deposit for the last month's rent, and now you want the security deposit back. You're not getting it. We're done. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
We did follow the suggestions of the exterminator.
I think perhaps she should have fumigated the home.
We did what was suggested.
Locked up some more of the holes.
So that was not an excuse.
Done some closing up in the attic.
We didn't have to. We did. We did everything to have her happy.
Yes, I do feel she should have done some more.
She moved inland, which is less expensive and near her sister.
As it stands right now, when I was in Oceanside, my sister was 6 minutes from my home.
I think that was the main reason that you move out.
Now